Hey there guys, this is your host, Richard. The Elseworlds imprint from DC Comics brought us stories from our beloved heroes in mysterious and alternate realities. Launched in 1989 and concluding around 2006, it captivated readers with its unique narratives. Excitingly, DC Comics has revived the Elseworlds imprint after an 18-year hiatus. And guess what? Elseworlds has come back with a Batman title, direct sequel to the original Gotham by Gaslight. To celebrate this revival, we at Long Reads will explore every exhilarating Elseworlds adventure featuring our beloved Dark Knight. Without further ado, to the teleporters, fellow Elseworlders. But before we begin, we have a small request. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. It's a small click from you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Batman, Gotham by Gaslight. In this intriguing twist on the Batman legend, Brian Augustyn penned a tale brought to life with Mike Mignola's illustrations and P. Craig Russell's vibrant colors, launching the iconic Elseworlds series in 1989. Set against the backdrop of the 19th century on Earth-19, the story began with young Bruce Wayne and his parents on a fateful coach ride. Their journey took a dark turn when a gun-wielding assailant ambushed them, tragically claiming the lives of Bruce's parents. In the chaos, a swarm of bats descended, driving the attacker away. Left alone and grieving, Bruce left Gotham, embarking on a journey of rigorous training across the globe. His path led him to Europe, where he studied under the famed Dr. Sigmund Freud. Haunted by nightmares of his parents' murder, Bruce interpreted these visions as a divine calling, prompting his return to Gotham. Back in his hometown, Bruce reconnected with Jacob Parker, affectionately known as Uncle Jake, and met Inspector Gordon. Gotham was in turmoil, its streets plagued by rising crime. Taking on the mantle of Batman, Bruce vowed to restore order. The city was soon gripped by fear as a series of gruesome murders targeted prostitutes, accompanied by taunting letters signed by the infamous Jack the Ripper addressed to Gordon. Suspicion fell on Bruce when a bloody knife was discovered in Wayne Manor, leading to his imprisonment in Arkham Asylum. Unwavering in his pursuit of justice, Bruce continued his investigation from within the asylum. He discovered that the knife belonged to his father and found a photograph implicating Uncle Jake in the murders. With Alfred's help, Bruce escaped Arkham and confronted Jake at his parents' grave. Jake revealed his sinister plot, confessing to the Wayne murders and his identity as the Ripper. In a tense showdown, Jake launched to attack, but Gordon intervened, fatally shooting the true villain. In the aftermath, Gordon acknowledged Batman as Gotham's guardian. The city, once gripped by fear, now found hope in its new protector, signaling the dawn of a new era under Batman's watchful eye. Batman, Master of the Future. This direct sequel to Gotham by Gaslight was crafted by Brian Augustyn and illustrated by Eduardo Barreto. It takes place 11 months after the events of its predecessor on Earth-19. It was released in 1991. Bruce Wayne had put away the mantle of Batman, opting for a quieter life away from the vigilante's burden. Despite Bruce's retreat, whispers persisted among Gotham's citizens, longing for the masked guardian to return and restore order to a city teetering on the edge. Julie Madison, Bruce's fiancée and a compassionate leader at Gotham City's Orphan Relief Fund, had her own reasons to wish for Batman's return. She'd personally experienced his intervention when thugs threatened her, a reminder of the safety he once provided to the city. James Gordon, now the police commissioner, found himself grappling with a city in economic turmoil under Mayor Tolliver's extravagant plans for a grand exposition. Tolliver's relentless pursuit of progress clashed with Gordon's concerns about the strain it would put on law enforcement, especially without Batman's support. During a contentious city council meeting, events took a dramatic turn when Alexandre Leroy appeared. Calling himself the Master of the Future, burst in with dire warnings about Gotham's impending doom if the exposition continued. He vowed to strike with fire if the industrialists kept on with their business. He threatened to utilize a solar-powered weapon to destroy Gotham, but Tolliver wasn't afraid. Over dinner, Bruce shared the council's unsettling events with Julie, who expressed growing unease over the escalating threats. Leroy, meanwhile, conspired with an unknown backer, driven by a fanatic belief that humanity's reliance on technology would doom the planet. His plan involved leveraging a solar device to enact widespread destruction during the exposition. Meanwhile, Gordon confided in Bruce about his fears regarding Leroy's capabilities and the city's vulnerability without Batman's protection. Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce, haunted by the escalating danger, made a fateful decision to reclaim the role he'd once laid aside. On the opening day of the exposition, chaos erupted as Leroy seized Tolliver and unleashed his destructive solar weapon upon the city. In the carnage, Batman emerged once more, confronting Leroy aboard his airborne vessel, the Bird of Prey. Their aerial battle raged above the city skyline, culminating in Leroy's defeat and the crashing of his airship into Gotham's bay. In the aftermath, Gotham mourned the lives lost, including Tolliver's, and faced the truth behind Leroy's motives. Batman, confronting the orchestrator of the devastation, exposed Franklin Claypool as Leroy's silent partner in crime, profiting from the destruction for personal gain. Later, Bruce found solace with Julie, who revealed she knew his secret all along, pledging her unwavering support. Batman: Holy Terror. This landmark Elseworlds story, adorned with the first official Elseworlds logo, unfolded through the writing of Alan Brennett and the artistry of Norm Breyfogle in 1991. In the 20th century, the United States was under the grip of a theocratic government. Thomas Wayne, a physician for the Privy Council, and his wife Martha met a tragic end at the hands of Joseph Chill, acting on orders from the council. Left orphaned and scarred, young Bruce Wayne found solace in his faith. As 20 years passed, the government brutally suppressed dissent, plunging the world into chaos. Bruce, on the verge of joining the clergy, learned from Gordon that his parents were killed by the Privy Council due to their involvement in unethical experiments turning people into metas, causing countless death. Thomas Wayne, determined to expose the truth, was silenced, leaving Bruce to vow eternal service to God. Donning the bat costume once worn by his father in a church play, Bruce became Batman, seeking justice against the corrupt council. Guided by his father's associate, Charles McNider, he infiltrated the Star Chamber, the heart of the meta experiments. Using Reverend Judson's credentials, Batman discovered individuals like Barry Allen and Arthur Curry transformed into meta puppets. Barry revealed the sinister Dr. Saul Erdel as the mastermind. When confronting Erdel, Batman encountered Zatanna, the so-called witch employed by the council. Batman overpowered her, but Erdel's evil scheme resulted in Barry's death by incineration. Erdel showed Batman the body of Superman, whom he killed with kryptonite as Superman began to rebel. Enraged and despondent, Bruce faced Erdel and Clayface. Using liquid nitrogen, Batman defeated Clayface. In their final confrontation, Erdel met his end from a ricocheted bullet intended for Batman. Bruce, now a God-man by day and a nocturnal avenger by night, warned the council of his ongoing crusade against their corrupt rule, continuing his never-ending war against the forces governing the city. Batman and Dracula: Red Rain. This early Elseworlds story was released in 1991. Crafted by Doug Mensch and illustrated by the talented Kelly Jones, it took readers on a dark and horrific journey. The narrative began on Earth 43, with Batman investigating a string of grisly murders in Gotham, characterized by victims with slashed throats and drained blood. One night, he encountered a vampire who overpowered him and escaped. Determined to learn more, Batman turned to Dr. Ariane, who revealed to him the hidden world of vampires. He soon discovered that Dracula and his followers were behind the murders, transforming their victims into the undead with the intent of taking over Gotham and then the entire world. Bruce was equally stressed with the idea of the Red Rain in Gotham somehow transforming his physiology when he met Tanya, a vampire lady who had been slowly turning him into one of her kind over the past month by visiting him in his dreams. Tanya was an age-old vampire and was the leader of the group called the Others. She and her group of vampire hunters were determined to stop Dracula and sort out Bruce's help. Now equipped with vampiric strength, Batman joined Tanya and her team in a fierce battle against Dracula's minions. They set up traps in the Batcave to take out the vampires. The fight was intense, resulting in the deaths of all the hunters except Tanya, who sacrificed herself to defeat the final enemy. The entire Wayne Manor was decimated. Dracula kidnapped Gordon and used him to bait Batman. At their hideout, Bruce discovered that he'd birthed 2 new bat wings from his shoulders, giving him the ability to soar the skies of Gotham. With his new powers, Batman faced Dracula in an epic aerial duel. As if by deliverance, a lightning bolt struck an electric pole, transforming it into a giant stake. The confrontation ended when Batman pushed Dracula and impaled him on the pole through his heart. His corpse burned away in the storm. However, this victory came at a great cost, as Dracula drained Batman of all his blood. In the aftermath, Batman transformed into a full-fledged vampire, but promised to carry on his war against Dracula's minions, who were still left. He told Alfred that Bruce was gone, but Batman needed to live on, because vampires were real, but not all of them were evil. Batman: Bloodstorm. The direct sequel to Batman Red Rain was released in 1994 from the same team of Doug Mensch and Kelly Jones. In the wake of Dracula's defeat in Gotham, the Joker seized an opportunity. He sought out the surviving vampires from Dracula's horde, preying on their primal instincts and inability to think beyond their immediate hunger. With his sinister charisma, he rallied them to his cause, effectively taking control of Gotham's major crime families. Under his chaotic leadership, the Blood Feasters raged chaos through the city, and it plunged into deeper darkness. darkness, but Gotham still had its defenders. Batman, now physically a vampire, assembled a deadly team to combat the new vampire threat. By his side stood Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, who had transformed into a werecat after a fateful vampire encounter. Commissioner Gordon, his fearless friend, Alfred, his all-time fatherly aide, and a dedicated group of vampire hunters from the Gotham City Police Department. Together, they launched an endless campaign to eradicate the vampires. In the course, Batman discovered that his bloodthirst could only be buried by Catwoman's selfless love, and both of them developed an intimate relationship. The team strategized, attacking by day when the vampires were most vulnerable. Gordon, Alfred, and their team staked the transformed crime lords, cutting down the heart of Joker's new regime. Meanwhile, Batman and Catwoman tracked the last of the vampires to a warehouse for a final confrontation. The battle was fierce. In the chaos, Catwoman saw a crossbow bolt aimed at Batman. Without hesitation, she leaped into its path, sacrificing herself to save him. Stricken by grief and rage and the loss of the only person who helped him manage his bloodlust, Batman lost control. In a fury, he drained the Joker of his blood, giving in to his darkest urges. Joker's dark blood coursed through his heart and tainted it, making his bloodthirst unquenchable. He was now a full-fledged vampire. Realizing the horror of his actions, Batman knew what he had to do. To prevent the Joker from rising again as a vampire, he drove a stake through his heart. Then, with a heavy heart, he turned to Gordon and Alfred, urging them to do the same to him. He couldn't risk becoming a monster and committing more murders. With sorrow, Gordon and Alfred honored his final request, staking him through the heart and seemingly killing him. Batman Crimson Mist. The final part of the Batman Vampire trilogy was released in 1998 from the same creative team. After the events of Batman Bloodstorm, there was a torrent of rising crime in Gotham. Harvey Dent turned into the murdering Two-Face. Killer Croc went on a cannibalistic rampage. Poison Ivy went on a murdering spree, and Crane turned into Scarecrow, a fear-inducing serial killer. Meanwhile, Batman rotted in his crypt. Maggots started crawling out of his body. His mind had also disintegrated, giving him a mad craving for blood. Alfred pulled out the stake from Batman's heart and brought him back to life, thinking that he would stop the rising wave of crime. In order to quench his bloodlust, he killed off the villains one by one and then sucked their blood and beheaded them so that they wouldn't turn. He started with Penguin first, then he killed Riddler, then Scarecrow, and then Ivy. Next day, he killed Black Mask and his entire gang and impaled their head on the gate of Blackgate Penitentiary. That night, he killed and drank all the blood of the inmates of Arkham Asylum and directed Dr. Arkham to close the asylum for good. Gordon and Alfred teamed up with Two-Face and Croc to finally put an end to the monster, Batman. They managed to hurt him and seemingly hurl him to his death. Then, Two-Face and Croc double-crossed Gordon and Alfred and attacked them, but Batman was still alive and sustained fatal injuries. To empower him for his final battle, Alfred made the ultimate sacrifice, giving his own life and blood. Fueled by this act, Batman found the strength to kill Two-Face and Croc. However, the victory came at a high cost, as Gordon perished from a cave-in. With the last traces of opposition gone, Batman, seeking solace in death, walked into the sunlight and disintegrated into dust. Robin 3000. This epic saga, penned by Byron Price and brought to life by P. Craig Russell's illustrations, was released in 1992. In a distant millennium, Gotham City and the world had evolved beyond recognition. The tale began with the enduring legacy of the Wayne family, whose revolutionary inventions had once reshaped space exploration and combated famine. However, their innovation inadvertently unleashed a mutant virus that plunged Earth into chaos. Exploiting humanity's vulnerability, the Sculpt, an alien race, offered a cure in exchange for total submission. In the turmoil, the Wayne family, unjustly blamed for the catastrophe, found themselves in prison. Bruce Wayne, Double X, determined to reclaim his family's honor, uncovered the true essence of the original Batman's legacy. Embracing the mantle, he mentored his nephew, Tom Wayne, grooming him as the new Robin to combat tyranny and resist the Sculpt's domination. Their journey was fraught with peril. Bruce, in a daring act of sacrifice, protected Tom during a fierce confrontation, ensuring his nephew's survival and determination to carry on the fight for justice. Equipped with a cybernetic hand, Tom joined forces with rebels on the distant planet Bolivar. Captured by the ruthless Sculpt soldier Dragon, Tom and his allies uncovered a shocking betrayal orchestrated by the mercenary Genra, coerced into treachery by the Sculpt. In a surprising turn of events, Genra switched sides, aiding Tom and the rebels in a pivotal moment of redemption. The tale culminated with the emergence of the Robin android, which located Tom and provided the genetic blueprint to recreate another Batman. Despite enduring injuries and setbacks, Tom remained resilient. Donning the iconic cape and cowl, he symbolized the resurgence of Robin and renewed hope in the enduring partnership between Batman and his loyal companion. Batman, the Blue, the Grey, and the Bat. In this tale from Elseworlds, we encounter a Batman reminiscent of the Lone Ranger, crafted by Elliot S. Maggin and Alan Weiss, with artistry by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. It was released in 1993. Summoned by Abraham Lincoln himself, Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Wayne, known as the Batman from the 13th Massachusetts Cavalry, received a critical mission. His task? To secure Nevada's vast reservoirs of gold and silver, essential resources for the Union forces. Accompanied by his steadfast ally Alfred, Batman ventured into the heart of the region. Teaming up with Redbird, a trusted indigenous friend, they swiftly countered an assault by a gang of cowboys and rescued Margaret Baronsaver and her aunt, Mary Louise Pilchard. Forming an alliance with the legendary Western figure James Butler Hickok, Batman enlisted a group of escaped slaves, his Dark Knights, granting them freedom in exchange for their service to the Union cause. Their efforts to disrupt illegal mining operations caught the attention of the infamous Bloody Bob Armstrong. Despite Batman's attempts to resolve matters peacefully, tensions escalated into open conflict. It was revealed that Redbird had a personal vendetta against Bob for the murder of his parents, and justice was swiftly served. The plot thickened when Margaret and Mary, double-crossers seeking to abscond with the riches, tried to flee. Batman intercepted their escape, only to find himself outnumbered by a ruthless army of lancers. Just when all seemed lost, Redbird arrived with a cavalry of 900 soldiers, courtesy of Colonel Kit Carson. In a dramatic showdown, they overwhelmed the lancers, secured the treasure, and apprehended the treacherous women. With the mission accomplished and justice restored, Batman bid farewell to his newfound allies. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, he rode off into the twilight, a lone figure destined to uphold justice wherever it may be called. Batman, Houdini, Devil's Workshop. This Elseworlds story was crafted by Howard Chaykin and John Francis Moore, with captivating illustrations by Mark Chiarello, and debuted in 1993. In an alternate Gotham of the early 20th century, Bruce Wayne donned the mask of Batman, the city's nocturnal protector. At the same time, Harry Houdini, the famed escape artist, mesmerized audiences with his daring performances. In the sinister alleys known as the Devil's Workshop, a chilling wave of child abductions orchestrated by the albino madman Jack Schadenfreude terrorized the city. Batman intercepted one of these kidnappings, but his encounter with Jack left him injured and the villain slipping away. A twist of fate brought Bruce and Houdini together at a lavish party hosted by the ostentatious beef baron Elijah Montenegro, where journalist Vicky Vale was on the scene to capture the spectacle. Misguided by appearances, Houdini mistook Batman for the perpetrator and attempted to apprehend him, only to find himself stunned and left in the dark. Realizing their shared goal of stopping Jack, Batman and Houdini united forces, pursuing leads that ultimately led them to a final showdown with the malevolent kidnapper. Their confrontation revealed shocking truths. Montenegro, revealed as a vampire, had been conspiring with Jack to feed on the abducted children. In a gruesome spectacle, Jack met his end, and Batman and Houdini faced off against Montenegro and his accomplice, Leonora Reinhardt. The battle ended decisively as Vale, armed with knowledge and a stake, reduced Montenegro to ash, while Houdini utilized his cunning and a symbolic trinket to neutralize Leonora's dark powers. As the dust settled on this extraordinary adventure, Batman, Houdini, and Vale walked away from the shadows of Gotham, their partnership forged in the crucible of danger and deception, marking the end of a uniquely gripping saga. Batman, Dark Joker, The Wild. In this Elseworlds tale, crafted by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Kelly Jones, which was released in 1993, we delve into a world of horror and fantasy. Two mystical beings, Magista and Lilandra, welcomed their second child, destined to become the avatar of the wild. Their joy turned to tragedy when they fell victim to the malevolent Dark Joker and his ogres. Despite seizing Magista's talisman and their secret cask, Dark Joker failed to harness their powers. In a fit of rage, Dark Joker cast the child from the Eyrie, believing it dead. Miraculously, the child transformed into a bat and flew into the jungle. 20 years later, a stranger warned villagers about Dark Joker, triggering a tragic ambush. Blinded by grief, the villagers attacked the stranger, revealed as the sorceress, Saressa, who summoned the jungle's wrath in retaliation. Saressa connected with the bat-like creature, offspring of Magista and Lilandra. Teaching him language and unveiling the malevolent essence within the stolen cask, Saressa cautioned against its release. Fueled by vengeance upon learning of Dark Joker's role in his parents' murder, the Batman evolved under Saressa's tutelage. Dark Joker, manipulating an innocent boy, unleashed the essence of evil, wreaking havoc on Hightown. Batman rallied the townspeople, confronting Dark Joker in a fierce battle. After a brutal clash, Batman defeated Dark Joker by biting open his throat and casting him from the Eyrie. In a startling revelation, Batman disclosed his ability to transform between bat and human forms at will. Pledging to protect Hightown, he cemented his role as their guardian in this extraordinary saga. Superman, Speeding Bullets. This Elseworlds narrative, written by J.M. DeMatteis and illustrated by Eduardo Barreto, was released in 1993. When baby Kal-El crash-landed on Earth, fate brought him into the lives of Thomas and Martha Wayne, a couple longing for a child of their own. They adopted the boy and named him Bruce, oblivious to his extraterrestrial origins. Years later, tragedy struck in an alleyway where Thomas and Martha fell victim to a mugger named Joe Chill. In a moment of grief and rage, Bruce inadvertently used his heat vision to scar Chill, who was later found dead. This shocking revelation of his superpowers came too late to save his beloved parents, leaving Bruce overwhelmed with guilt and shame, leading him to suppress his newfound abilities. As Bruce grew into adulthood, he became a recluse within Wayne Manor, haunted by the echoes of his parents' death and burdened by his heightened senses that made him acutely aware of the crimes in Gotham City and beyond. His solitude was shattered when armed intruders invaded the manor and seized Alfred, his loyal butler. In a surge of fury and desperation, Bruce tapped into his powers to rescue Alfred, a discovery that led Alfred to reveal Bruce's alien heritage hidden in a cave beneath the manor. Motivated by a newfound purpose and armed with a determination to combat crime, Bruce adopted the persona of Batman, donning a suit to strike fear into Gotham's underworld as a fearful force. Meanwhile, in neighboring Metropolis, industrialist Lex Luthor survived a life-altering accident and relocated his empire to Gotham, eyeing a takeover of Wayne Enterprises. He was the one who had sent the thugs to kill Bruce. When Lex tried to take over Wayne Corp, Bruce intervened at the critical moment, asserting control over his company and challenging Luthor's influence. He also acquired the Gotham Gazette, reshaping it with Perry White and Lois Lane from the Daily Planet, who quickly earned Bruce's respect with their integrity and ideals. Batman's vigilante tactics, however, drew Lois Lane's scrutiny after a violent encounter where Batman rescued her from assailants with alarming force. Lois publicly denounced Batman's methods in her editorial, sparking controversy in Gotham. However, she had an ongoing affair with Bruce. Lex Luthor seized this opportunity to escalate his ambitions, revealing his madness and plan for military domination of Gotham. He shed his Luthor persona and turned into Joker. He hurt Bruce and abducted Lois. Bruce changed into Batman and threw Luthor off the rooftop, but he wanted to be a better man for Lois. So he caught Luthor before he hit the ground and apprehended him by the law. He thwarted Luthor's military coup single-handedly, but Luthor remained indifferent to the chaos he'd caused. In a pivotal moment of reflection prompted by Lois's counsel, Bruce realized Gotham needed Bruce Wayne's idealism more than Batman's brutality. He decided to shed his vigilante persona, embracing a new identity that embodied hope and inspiration: Superman. Batman, Castle of the Bat. In this Elseworlds tale by Jack C. Harris and Bo Hampton, the story unfolds as a spiritual adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, with a nod to the classic Hammer horror films. The setting is Germany in 1819, where Bruce Wayne is a practicing doctor. As a child, Bruce dreamed of becoming an actor, but his father's strict insistence led him to pursue a career in medicine instead. Tragically, the Waynes were attacked by robbers during a journey, leaving Bruce an orphan. In honor of his father, Bruce committed himself to medicine and vowed to eradicate crime. Bruce's ambition led him to experiment with revolutionary medical techniques, discovering a method to transfer life energies using lightning. His ideas were met with derision by his colleague, Dr. Seltsam. One night, Bruce and his subhuman servant Alfredo stumbled upon a hidden biological laboratory beneath the university. There, Bruce found his father's preserved brain and decided to assemble the perfect body. Using a combination of science and lightning, Bruce brought his creation to life. However, the creature, possessing limited intellect, didn't respond as hoped. In an effort to enhance it, Bruce dressed the creature in a bat costume, creating the Batman. Under Bruce's guidance, the Batman began to combat criminals. Despite Bruce's teachings to spare lives, the Batman eventually escaped and kidnapped Julia, Bruce's love interest. The story took a darker turn when Bruce discovered that Bruce Seltsam had orchestrated the robbery that resulted in his parents' deaths. Infiltrating Seltsam's lab, Bruce uncovered grotesque experiments on the robbers responsible for his parents' demise. Seltsam revealed that the discovery of the preserving fluid led to Thomas Wayne's murder. In a climactic confrontation, Seltsam attempted to use electricity against the Batman, but Bruce intervened, causing Seltsam to electrocute himself. As the castle collapsed, the Batman sacrificed himself to save Bruce and Julia. In his dying moments, the creature recognized Bruce as his creator and, in a sense, his father. Batman Leatherwing. This Elseworlds tale was written by Chuck Dixon and illustrated by Kike Alcetena and came out in 1994. The story unfolded during William's rule in England. The seas were ruled by Leatherwing, a dangerous yet just pirate captain who commanded his ship the Flying Fox. With his trusted aide Alfredo and a loyal crew, Leatherwing embarked on daring adventures, including the rescue of Princess Queckchala from a Spanish galleon, unaware that this act would bind them in marriage according to her customs. After safely returning Princess Queckchala to her father, King Hapa of the Cayman Indios, Leatherwing was gifted a bracelet by the princess. To his astonishment, this bracelet signified their marriage. Confused by these unexpected customs, Leatherwing sailed to Vespertilio Cay at Kingston. On board, a young thief named Robin dreamed of joining Leatherwing in his swashbuckling exploits. Meanwhile, Captain Joker, known as the Laughing Man, discovered the location of Vespertilio Cay and conspired with Captain Felina to betray Leatherwing. Robin, uncovering a plot of mutiny, warned Leatherwing and earned his favor. Felina, masquerading as a distressed Contessa, was rescued by Leatherwing and they fell in love. However, when Felina saw Princess Queckchala embracing Leatherwing, she left in jealousy and decided to ally with Joker. Robin was captured by Felina but managed to explain the misunderstanding about Leatherwing's supposed marriage. Realizing her mistake, Felina joined forces with Robin to confront Joker. Leatherwing and his crew launched an attack, culminating in a fierce battle between Leatherwing and Joker. In the chaos, Robin bravely shielded Leatherwing from a gunshot, sustaining a wound. Enraged, Leatherwing impaled Joker, sinking his ship. After the battle, Leatherwing performed precise surgery to save Robin's life. Leatherwing and Felina reconciled and married, and together with Robin, they continued their seafaring adventures, happily scourging the seven seas. Batman, Citizen Wayne. Published in 1994, this Elseworlds narrative was co-authored by Mark Waid and Brian Augustyn, with illustrations by Joe Staton. The story began with an anonymous district attorney investigating the mysterious deaths of Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, both found in Batman armors. As the investigation unfolded, the attorney delved into Bruce's past, uncovering the tragic murder of his father when Bruce was just a child. This traumatic event set Bruce on a lifelong mission to continue his father's quest for justice. He ran the Gotham Guardian, a newspaper dedicated to exposing corruption in the city. Harvey Dent, a passionate district attorney and Bruce's childhood friend, believed in combating criminals with force, taking a more aggressive stance against Gotham's underworld. A shadowy figure in a black bat costume began targeting bootleggers, leading the crime boss Maroni to mistakenly believe it was Harvey behind the mask. In a violent confrontation, Maroni threw acid at Harvey, disfiguring his face and injuring Commissioner Gordon. Bruce discovered too late that Harvey had also taken on the mantle of Batman. Consumed by rage, Harvey killed Maroni in retaliation. Determined to stop Harvey's descent into violence, Bruce donned a white bat armor. The two former friends clashed on a rooftop, where Bruce pleaded with Harvey to surrender. During the fierce fight, Harvey slipped and was left hanging precariously from a gargoyle. Bruce reached out to save him, but the gargoyle gave way, sending both men plummeting to their deaths. The district attorney who had been investigating the case was revealed to be Dick Grayson, appointed after Harvey's demise. Inspired by the heroism of Gotham's fallen protectors, Dick believed that only a true hero could set the city on the right path, as he decided to become one. Superman Unforgiven. This Elseworlds tale, released in 1994, was authored by Christopher Priest and illustrated by Mark Bright. Here, readers were introduced to a 56-year-old Bruce Wayne. He was deeply involved in the endless struggle of the Free Earth movement against a world ruled by Kryptonians. The narrative took readers back to when Jor-El, the leader of Krypton, arrived on Earth with Kal and Lara. This exodus of over 100,000 Kryptonians was a result of a genetic catastrophe that emerged during the Clone Wars, forcing them to flee their dying planet. Jor-El, with the help of Lex Luthor, orchestrated the overthrow of Earth's government. The Kryptonian infant, Kal-El, was given to Jonathan and Martha Kent, who raised him as their own. During his upbringing, Kal developed a deep admiration for Batman and his steadfast crusade against injustice. Driven by unyielding determination, Batman pursued the blueprints of the Kryptonian base on Orchard Islands. He tragically died in the process, but not before passing the crucial blueprints to Kal, affectionately calling him his Superman. Inspired by Bruce's sacrifice, Kal took up the mantle and continued his mission. As Superman, Kal investigated the secrets of Orchard Islands, discovering that the machines there maintained an agent in Earth's atmosphere that protected Kryptonians from the plague. Initially, he considered destroying the machines to eliminate the Kryptonian presence. However, a pivotal encounter with Lex Luthor changed his mind. Kal decided to restore Earth's government, coexist with the Kryptonians, and work gradually towards Earth's liberation. The story took a surprising twist with the revelation that Bruce Wayne was still alive, orchestrating events from behind the scenes to engage Kal in a complex war game. Batman Black Masterpiece. Published in 1994, this Elseworlds narrative, crafted by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Federico Cueva, unfolded across two distinct timelines. In Florence, 1490, Leonardo da Vinci, funded by the Medicis, encountered profound tragedy when Giuliano Medici and his wife were murdered by a disfigured assassin from the house of Pazzi. Taking in Giuliano's son, Thomas, Leonardo trained him as his apprentice. Years later, while drawing the portrait of Mona Lisa del Giocondo, Leonardo and Mona Lisa fell in love. However, their happiness was shattered when Mona Lisa was kidnapped by her jealous husband, Francesco, who had collaborated with the Pazzis. Francesco demanded a ransom from Leonardo and imprisoned Mona Lisa in the Tower of Four Winds. Thomas, now Batman, used designs from Leonardo's painting, The Bat, to create a batsuit with a glider. He rescued Mona Lisa, confronting and disabling the disfigured assassin for life. Leonardo and Mona Lisa were reunited, and as a gesture of respect, Leonardo initially drew Thomas as Batman behind Mona Lisa. However, Thomas later erased it, turning it into a pentimento, a hidden painting within the painting. In the present, the Mona Lisa was stolen by an ex-Louvre employee and his goons, who planned to ransom it. Batman tracked them to Gotham and prevented the destruction of the painting, ensuring the pentimento remained a secret. He returned the painting to Gordon, making sure that the hidden depiction of Batman behind Mona Lisa stayed concealed forever. Batman the Tyrant. This Elseworlds tale, penned by Alan Grant and illustrated by Tom Rainey and Joe Staton, was released in 1994. On the night of Bruce Wayne's parents' murder, Jonathan Crane intervened just in time to save him from a fatal gunshot. Crane then became Bruce's mentor, teaching him to instill fear in criminals. During the day, Bruce engaged in philanthropy, gaining unanimous support as Gotham's civic leader. As the city's leader by day and the crime-fighting Batman by night, Bruce instituted a seemingly successful fascist state, resulting in a substantial drop in crime. The citizens of Gotham sympathized with Bruce and accepted both facets of his life. However, Lonnie Mackin, the rebellious hero Anarchy, exposed Batman's manipulative methods, revealing that he was drugging everyone to maintain control. Operating as the Subversives, Anarchy united villains and Gothamites against Batman's oppressive rule. Batman, fueled by Crane's gas, arrested Vicky Vale and Commissioner Gordon, using them as test subjects. Anarchy orchestrated a threefold attack on Parents' Day, leading to Alfred's death and a violent confrontation between the villains and state police. In the final showdown, Crane attempted to release mind-altering gas upon Gotham, but was thwarted by Anarchy and the Subversives. Anarchy sacrificed himself, detonating a bomb and killing Crane. Batman, confessing his deeds on television, surrendered to the enraged citizens of Gotham, who, in a vengeful act, burned Wayne Manor, ending Batman's reign as they burned him down with the building. Justice League, The Super 7. This Elseworlds tale was released in 1994 and was written by Carl Kessel. The Malaza Rem, a race of highly evolved alien lizards, had attacked her. They were stopped by the Super 7. However, they threatened to kill millions of civilians if the metahumans ever tried to stop them. They destroyed Metropolis and Coast City, killing millions, including Lois Lane. The governments and the humans all turned against the superheroes, causing them to leave. Those who didn't leave were killed. There came a time after 10 years when all the superheroes had vanished. The humans lived under the alien rule. However, Batman still kept fighting his war against the hordes of Malaza Rem. Counselor Lana Lang and Jimmy, who had been secretly helping the Resistance, decided to gather the old heroes for one last stand. They brought back Superman, ascertaining the fact that Lois was still alive and was a part of the Resistance. Seeing Superman come back, Wonder Woman also came out of hiding. They tracked down Batman as he destroyed a Horde base and also made him join their cause. With the help of Superboy, they saved Hal Jordan from a Horde attack, and Jordan also joined them. They even brought the Flash back to their team. As the Horde attacked their base, Metal X joined them and they decided to stand their ground for a fight. The Super 7 gathered up in the sewer tunnels and trained civilians and soldiers to fight the Horde. The moment they came out in the open, the Horde attacked. The heroes stood their ground. Batman would have been smashed by a huge Horde robot, but Superboy intervened and destroyed it with his tactile telekinesis. As Wonder Woman, Metal X, and Jordan fought, Flash was still in shock from the battle around him. Jimmy turned against Lana, who was revealed to be one of the Horde, but she escaped. Wonder Woman died trying to save Jimmy from a Horde attack. The leader of the Malaza Rem, Krillin, spoke to them through a hologram and told them that they would be attacking soon. Batman gassed Superboy and took him to the Horde mothership, claiming that he'd captured a meta for Krillin. There, he awakened Superboy and both of them tore through the Horde soldiers. While Superboy fell through an opening, Batman blew himself up and took the mothership with him, disabling the Horde shield. The heroes held their last stand and fought off the Horde, where Flash died, saving Jordan. Superman and Superboy went to the location where Lois was held. There, Krillin killed Lana in front of him. Krillin used Metallix's kryptonite to kill Superman. However, Metallix killed Krillin by stabbing him from behind. In the aftermath, Superboy showed the Horde that their leader was dead. Order on Earth was restored and a new league was formed, with Superboy becoming the new Superman. Robin, the Narrow Path. In this tale, the house of the Bat Ninja was attacked by a clan of unknown assassins bearing the insignia of Venom Rose. He fought valiantly and killed all the assailants, but ultimately succumbed to the injuries. His apprentice Tengu had gone fishing and returned when it was too late. While dying, the Bat Ninja made Tengu promise that he would protect their master Lord Hideyori and take a scroll hidden in his family sword to him. Tengu remembered his training with the Bat Ninja and how they fought off the Venom Rose clan before. Tengu didn't know the name of his own father. He'd asked Bat Ninja multiple times, but he never disclosed that. Driven by blind faith and love, Tengu loved Bat Ninja as his father. Tengu cremated the fallen bat and set their manor ablaze and began his journey to Osaka Castle. Along the way, he encountered a cat ninja who revealed herself as an enemy of the Venom Rose. Before parting, she left him with the cryptic message. Tengu continued on his path but was ambushed by Venom Rose ninjas. Narrowly escaping, he arrived at Osaka Castle, only to find it under siege. Tengu climbed the fortress wall and slipped into Lord Hideyori's chambers. Once inside, he explained the urgent situation, but Hideyori dismissed him, instructing him to wait until he was less occupied. As Tengu waited, Venom Rose ninjas ambushed him once more, forcing him outside to battle both them and the besieging army. In the midst of the chaos, the cat ninja appeared, assisting Tengu and urging him back inside to convey his crucial message. When Hideyori finally listened, he erupted in fury. He revealed that they were brothers and accused Tengu of plotting to steal his throne, admitting he'd sent the Venom Rose after him out of fear. In a blind rage, Hideyori attacked Tengu. However, Tengu, being the superior swordsman, was forced to kill Hideyori in self-defense. This action shattered Tengu's vow to his master that he would never seek revenge, and he realized he had failed to shield his lord from the gravest threat himself. Racked with guilt and despair, Tengu chose to commit seppuku and killed himself. Batman in Darkest Night. In the 1994 Elseworlds tale, written by Mike W. Barr and illustrated by Jerry Bingham, the story took an intriguing twist. Instead of Hal Jordan, the dying Green Lantern, Abin Sur passed his ring to Bruce Wayne. Embracing his new identity as the Green Lantern, Bruce thwarted the creation of the Joker by stopping the Red Hood gang at the Ace chemical plant. His heroic actions drew the attention of the Guardians of the Universe, who tasked him with capturing the power-hungry Sinestro. Bruce triumphed over Sinestro and banished him to the planet Quad. Sinestro, however, wasn't easily defeated. He crafted a yellow ring and took over the mind of Joe Chill, the man who murdered Bruce's parents. Batman faced this dual-conscious foe and ultimately defeated him. Yet, Sinestro cunningly convinced the Guardians that Bruce was unfit to wield a power ring. As a result, the Guardians granted 3 power rings to worthy Earth-dwellers Queen Hippolyta, Clark Kent, and Barry Allen. Alongside Katma Tui, they confronted Batman. During this tense encounter, Sinestro infiltrated the Batcave and killed Alfred. Realizing the threat, the Green Lanterns rushed to the cave and engaged Sinestro's forces in battle. Despite their efforts, Sinestro escaped. The Lanterns apologized to Batman, seeking his guidance, but Bruce declined, urging them to protect Earth from threats like Sinestro. He then embarked on a personal mission to track down Sinestro, reciting his unique oath. With signal green, come darkest night, that superstitious, fearful might. Beware the creature of the night, the weird avenger, blazing bright. Catwoman, The Last Man. This Elseworlds narrative, released in 1994, was crafted by Christopher Priest and vividly illustrated by Federico Cueva. The story unfolds in 1275 AD, during a brutal civil war in the Kingdom of Augustonia. Emperor Maddox of the House of Lords sought to exterminate the House of Selene, condemned by the Church of Augustine as savage cannibals and baby killers. Protecting the Selenites was Ra's al Ghul, known as the Catman, a demonic figure with feline traits. Timon Vicker, the Black Knight and the Emperor's son, led the Augustine Legion soldiers and eventually tracked down and killed Raz. However, upon his return, Timon and his army were ambushed by Catwoman. Using quick thinking, Timon deceived Catwoman by pretending another fallen soldier was him. In her human form, Catwoman tended to the wounded Timon. As they spent time together, they formed a bond, and Timon discovered that Catwoman was actually Talia, Raz's daughter. Their love blossomed, but their union was threatened when the Augustonia Legionnaires launched another attack. Timon valiantly defended Talia, and moved by his compassion, he approached Emperor Maddox, advising reconciliation with the Selenites. Maddox, enraged by Timon's plea, struck his son. In a swift and deadly response, Talia, in her Catwoman form, killed Maddox. Timon and Talia fled, only to be pursued by a giant crocodile. In a final act of love and sacrifice, Talia fought the beast to save Timon. Mortally wounded, she died in his arms, begging him to save her people. In her dying, she taught Timon how to live in peace. Batman, Brotherhood of the Bat. This gripping tale, written by Doug Mensch and illustrated by a talented team including Jim Aparo, Jim Balint, Brett Blevins, Norm Breyfogle, Vincent Giordano, Tom Grummett, Mike Manley and Graham Nolan, hit the shelves in 1995. It unfolds 53 years after the millennial apocalypse. The Ebola Honduras strain 9 virus had wiped out 97% of humanity, plunging the world into chaos dominated by crime and injustice. Gotham, now ruled by gangs and patrolled by paramilitary forces, became the stage for Ra's al Ghul's resurrection from the Lazarus pit. Ra's revealed that he was behind the virus, intending to sacrifice 23 million more lives to restore balance between nature and humanity. He established a new base in Gotham's Batcave and appointed 10 Batmen to enforce his brutal regime, eliminating any opposition with ruthless efficiency. However, one man saw through Raz's facade: Talent, a citizen of Gotham. Learning from his mother, Talia al Ghul, that his father was Batman, Talent found the key to Wayne Manor and his father's Bat costume. Encouraged by an elderly Gordon and Barbara, Talent donned the iconic costume and confronted Ra's. Ra's dressed up as the demon Batman and defeated Talent in a heartbeat. Talent vowed to do better next time. Talent ultimately cornered all of the 10 Batmen strategically and delivered them to the police. With newfound confidence, Talent faced Ra's again. Ra's wore his demon Batman costume. Despite being mortally wounded by Talia and Talent, Ra's managed to revive himself in the Lazarus pit. Regaining his sanity, Ra's relinquished control of Gotham to Talent and departed to continue his quest for world domination. Talent, now the new Batman, developed a vaccine for the virus and embarked on a mission to revive the world from its dire state. Batman, League of Batmen. This story, a direct sequel to Batman, Brotherhood of the Bat, was written by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Mark Bright. It was released in 2001. Set in a dystopian future still ravaged by an ongoing plague, Talent gathered Batmen from various factions to help distribute a global vaccine. Meanwhile, Ra's al Ghul, mutated and revived in the pit at Teotihuacan, sought to activate pits worldwide. His plan would eradicate the virus but also threaten humanity's existence, aiming to create a dominion of cyborgs under his rule. Raz's cyborg slaughtered many of the Batmen. He enlisted his accomplice Moon's son to clone the original Bruce Wayne and brainwash him into assassinating Talia and Talent. Bruce, transformed into a monstrous Batman, discovered the truth about the original Batman but still killed Talia. However, he hesitated to kill Talent and returned to Ra's for answers. Talent managed to regroup the League of Batmen and launched an attack on the Pyramid of the Moon at Teotihuacan. Meanwhile, Bruce delved into Raz's archives, uncovering the complete truth about Batman and deciding to stop Raz. A fierce confrontation erupted between the League of Batmen and Raz's cyborgs. Talent tried to prevent Raz from reactivating his machine but was defeated. Bruce intervened, incapacitated Talent, and fought Raz one-on-one. In the climax, Bruce destroyed Raz's machine, sacrificing himself in the pit and taking Raz with him. With victory secured, Talent entrusted Talia's blood sample to Moon's son, intending to clone Talia and raise her as his daughter. Batman, Man-Bat. This story, penned by Jamie Delano and brought to life by John Bolton's illustrations, came out in 1995. It was a gripping saga that followed Marilyn Monroe, a passionate animal rights activist. Marilyn and her partner Mac set out on a dangerous mission to infiltrate Eden Corps genetic labs in Arizona, aiming to capture video witness evidence. However, their plans went awry when they were attacked by a mutated wolf, leading to Mac's tragic death. Marilyn escaped with a secret vial, unaware that it contained a deadly plague capable of wiping out humanity. After a plane crash, she found refuge with Francine Langstorm, the wife of Kirk Langstorm, the original Man-Bat. When Marilyn met Kirk, she learned the catastrophic potential of the vial she carried. Kirk, holding a grudge against his halfling sons, Eugene and Virgil, revealed his sinister plan to unleash the plague and create a new generation of bat species by exterminating humanity with genetically engineered locusts. As these events unfolded, Francine transformed completely into a woman bat. Batman, hired by Eden Corps, tracked Marilyn to Kirk's hideout. In a desperate attempt to rescue Marilyn and himself, Batman inadvertently caused Virgil's death. Kirk then unveiled his grand scheme, sparking a moral showdown with Batman. Despite their best efforts, Batman and Marilyn couldn't stop the release of the locusts. Meanwhile, a fierce argument broke out between Francine, Eugene, and Kirk. In a moment of clarity, Kirk realized the error in his moral judgment and his mission. Acknowledging the importance of humans for Earth's survival, Kirk, aided by his telepathically controlled bats, with help from Francine and Eugene, averted the locust threat. In gratitude, Kirk vowed to remain secluded in the caves as long as humans left him in peace. Batman, keeping his word, arrested Marilyn but promised not to disturb Kirk's new Bat family. Superman and Batman Doom Link. This Elseworlds tale by Christopher Priest was brought to life by Eduardo Barreto's illustrations and released in 1995. This story was exclusively featured as a promotional insert in Kenner Toy's Superman and Batman Cyberlink Armor Multipack. In this tale, kryptonite radiation had taken over Metropolis in its entirety, making Superman dependent on the Cyberlink armor from Star Labs to maintain his invulnerability. In this world, Batman operated out of Metropolis, and they teamed up together for every crisis their world faced. The adventure began with the dynamic duo hot on the trail of Lex Luthor, who was armed with powerful battle armor. As Luthor tried to lure Superman into a trap through a portal, Batman stepped in just in time to save his friend. They tracked Luthor to a hidden lair, where they faced deadly traps and kryptonite-fueled robots. While Batman fought Luthor, Superman disabled all the circuitry that sufficed the remote launch of Luthor's weapon. Luthor disabled Superman and Batman, but found out that all his weapons were of no use. Although Luthor managed to escape through another portal, Batman's quick thinking turned the tide. He recalibrated the portal, sending Luthor directly to City Jail. Their teamwork and ingenuity once again saved Metropolis from disaster. Batman and Captain America. This Elseworlds tale, crafted and illustrated by John Byrne, hit the shelves in 1996. In this riveting narrative set in Earth 3839, readers witness the legendary team-up of Batman and Captain America, along with their sidekicks, Robin and Bucky, as they unraveled a sinister plot orchestrated by the Joker in Gotham. During their investigation, they managed to rescue Robert Oppenheimer and uncovered the Gotham Project, a nuclear warhead being constructed by the United States. Despite suspicions that Bruce Wayne, Gotham's millionaire playboy, was funding the Joker, the military assigned Steve Rogers to shadow him. After a brief clash, Bruce and Steve discovered each other's true identities and quickly joined forces. Batman teamed up with Bucky while Captain America paired with Robin. Their investigation revealed that the Joker was actually working for Red Skull, who was furthering Hitler's agenda. Red Skull's plan was to detonate the nuclear warhead, devastating much of America and paving the way for the Third Reich's domination. Batman and Captain America thwarted this scheme by attacking the plane carrying the warhead. When the Joker realized Red Skull's allegiance to the Nazis, he turned against him. In the end, Joker and Red Skull plunged into the ocean with the warhead, which then detonated. Despite this, Batman, Cap, Robin, and Bucky emerged victorious. In the epilogue, Dick Grayson, now the new Batman, and Bruce Jr., the new Robin, along with Bucky, rescued Captain America from a block of ice, heralding his triumphant return. Batman Dark Allegiances. Howard Chaykin skillfully penned and illustrated this story, which hit the shelves in 1996. Set against the backdrop of 1930s America, this Elseworlds narrative unfolded in a pre-World War II era. By day, Bruce Wayne was a visionary industrialist, but by night, he fought corruption as Batman. His first mission involved thwarting the White Legion cult's sinister plot of human sacrifice. During the confrontation, Batman unmasked the cult leader, revealing an unexpected adversary, the Joker. Overpowered, Batman managed to escape with the help of his loyal ally, Alfred. As the events progressed, Bruce met sinister Beauty and filmmaker Milt Bigsley, sharing his vision for a utopian America. To his surprise, he discovered that politicians perceived Batman not as an individual, but as a collective force of Batmen. Unknown to Bruce, these political figures planned to use Wayne Tech to control the Batman. At the same time, Bruce became entangled with Hollywood seductress Kitty Grimalkin. Blackmailed by politicians, Kitty was coerced into spying on Bruce. Disguised as Catwoman, she tried to steal Wayne Tech weapon records. Batman intervened, leading to Kitty revealing her true identity, Selina Kyle, manipulated by Bigley's threats to her career. As the plot thickened, Bruce uncovered a conspiracy involving Beauty, the Joker, and Bigsley. Their nefarious plan aimed to assassinate Franklin D. Roosevelt and Hitler. Batman thwarted their scheme, resulting in the Joker's demise and the exposure of the collaborators. Hitler shot Beauty, and Bruce received a new assignment from Roosevelt. In the aftermath, Catwoman, Batman, and Alfred, dressed as Robin, set off on a new adventure, promising readers more intriguing exploits to come. Batman, Scar of the Bat. Written by Max Allan Collins and illustrated by Eduardo Barreto, this story was released in 1996. Adapted from the autobiography of G-Man Elliot Ness, The Untouchables vividly transported readers to an era of crime and justice, the year 1928. In this tale, Al Capone's brutality, exemplified by the murder of two of his own men, Piazzi and Lamberto, caught the government's attention. Alexander Jamie, head of the Justice Department, teamed up with Prohibition agent Elliot Ness to form the Capone Squad, with the mission of taking down the infamous gangster. The squad, consisting of Ness, Danny Rasher, Frank Basile, and George Culkin, launched an aggressive campaign against Capone's operations. During their mission, Rasher shared his inspiration to fight crime, drawn from watching The Mark of Zorro. Impressed by the swashbuckling hero leaving his mark on villains, Rasher suggested that someone adopting the guise of the Batman from the movie The Bat could strike fear into the hearts of hoodlums. Taking Rasher's idea to heart, a man dressed as the Batman, armed with a baseball bat, began interrogating Capone's men to uncover their boss's whereabouts. The situation escalated when Capone's men ambushed the Capone squad, leaving Rasher mortally wounded. Although the attackers believed Rasher was the Batman, it was eventually revealed that Ness himself had taken on the Batman persona to confront Capone. Unable to kill Capone, Ness later hunted down and eliminated the men who had ambushed his squad. In the aftermath, Ness visited the dying Rasher, who made him promise to abandon the vigilante role, place the Batman mask and bat in his room, and let the Batman legend die with him. Honoring his promise, Ness worked with the feds to bring Capone to justice on charges of tax evasion. Capone was imprisoned and later died, and the Batman, having fulfilled his purpose, faded into obscurity. Legends of the Dead Earth, Fables of the Batman. This Elseworlds tale was written by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Vincent Giordano and was released in 1996. The story unfolded in a distant corner of the universe where Earth's heroes and their tales had been scattered among the stars after Earth was destroyed and it died off. The tale began with an elderly figure named Perseo narrating Batman's legends to 3 children within a blister dome. This storytelling tradition aimed to instill moral values in the youngsters before they underwent brain programming and assumed roles as city servicemen. Perseo's first legend revolved around the Mad Jester, alias Magister, who sought to control minds and rob individuals through augmented reality holocasts. Batman and his ward Darkbird had thwarted his sinister plans, leading to the imprisonment of the perpetrators in the Arkham floor of the Crime Control Mountain. The moral lesson emphasized preventing control over the mind, as crimes against the mind were the gravest. The second story introduced Selina Kane, aka Catfemme, who attempted to seduce Batman into her schemes. However, Batman outsmarted and apprehended her, emphasizing the moral imperative not to succumb to the allure of evil. The third tale involved Harvey Bent, a former protector of Gotham who disapproved of Batman's methods, leading to his downfall and transformation into Splitface. Batman intervened, capturing Harvey and conveying the moral that one couldn't justify evil actions in the pursuit of good. The concluding story portrayed Batman and Darkbird defending against an attack by the Scarecrow at the Crime Control Mountain, underscoring the moral that greatest fear was that of fear itself. As the children's initiation phase commenced, it was revealed that Perseo was, in fact, Batman. He intervened, preventing the chaperones from programming the kids. He incapacitated the chaperones and liberated the kids, breaking them out of the blister dome and then handing them over to his friends and the colony. It was a colony of unprogrammed people. It was later revealed that Batman's body was in fact an android, fitted with Bruce Wayne's brains with his moral values. He wasn't giving up his fight anytime soon. Legends of the Dead Earth, King Batman. Crafted by Alan Grant and illustrated by Bran Apthorpe, this tale was released in 1996. The narrative began with the ultimate evil standing alone on a solitary asteroid, the final remnant after the universe's demise. Determined to prevent evil's triumph in the new universe, he recorded warnings, printing thought images on subatomic particles, hoping future beings would discover them. He discovered a pivotal moment in time from an Elseworld, where changing a critical event could save the universe. In this Elseworld, the Lizard King, Ophos Archaios, dominated most of the world except for New Gotham. King Bruce ruled New Gotham by day and secretly operated as its hero, Batman, by night. He was supported by his advisor Duke Alfredo, his loyal friend Richard, and his son Robin, who looked up to him as the city's hero. Alfredo refused to bow to Ophos's threats, leading New Gotham into a war with the Lizards. During the war, Batman and his army were ambushed by the Lizards, and Batman was obliterated with death rays from all directions. Just at that moment, inside the castle, Robin sneaked into a dark room and found King Bruce hiding there. In an emotional exchange with Robin, Bruce confessed his fear of violence, which is why he never took up the mantle of Batman. At the battlefield, the warriors of New Gotham unmasked Batman and were surprised to find that it was Richard. At the castle, Bruce revealed that he was never Batman. It was Richard all along. He asked Robin if he was ashamed of his father. Robin replied that he loved him, no matter what. This pivotal moment inspired Bruce. He begged forgiveness to the citizens of New Gotham for his disservice and for letting Richard take his place. Then he challenged Ophos to a mortal combat. He was initially overpowered, but thinking about all the people of his kingdom, his son and his friends, Bruce gathered the courage and strength to finally defeat Ophos. Then he led his army to defeat the Lizards as well. Despite this momentous change, the universe met its demise, making way for the emergence of a new one. Legends of the Dead Earth, War Bat. This story was released in 1996 and was written by Chuck Dixon and illustrated by Flint Henry. On a distant planet in the far future, three kids, Deals, Bruggo, and Gila, told each other stories about the legend called Batman, who lived with his squire in Gotham City of planet Earth. They told stories about how the mighty Batman stood alone as a beacon of hope in front of villains like Three-Faces, Jokester, and Bane-Gator. As they walked to a nearby river, a cargo ship carrying old robots crashed on their planet. While playing in the water, the kids saw the crash trail and mistook it for a meteor. They tracked it and made a remarkable discovery, a humanoid war robot from a long-ago conflict. Inspired by the legends of Batman, the youngsters decided to bring the robot to life, adorning it with the Dark Knight's emblems and reactivating it. They also fashioned Robin costumes for themselves from the remnants of the war robot's cargo. Programming the robot, they named it War Bat and sent it on a mission to eliminate their generation's-old enemies, the Kryptonians. They faced a long journey ahead, but on reaching their destination, to their surprise, they found that the Kryptonians were long extinct, with only their genetic constructs and a Jokester bot remaining. Warbot engaged in battle, cutting through the multitude of genetic mutants. In the climactic confrontation with the Jokester bot, Warbot self-destructed, taking its adversary down with it. Deals, Bruggo, and Gila decided not to inform their elders that the Kryptonians' threat no longer existed, allowing them to continue living in their bubble. Legends of the Dead Earth, Executioner. This narrative was penned by Alan Grant and illustrated by Barry Kitson and was released in 1996. In the distant aftermath of Earth's destruction, the legends of that world persisted among the stars. In such an Elseworld, Kathy Kane, daughter of Robert Kane, also known as Batman the Executioner, woke up suddenly one ominous night. The sense of uneasiness led her to her father's room, where she found his body hanging by the rope. Kathy vowed not to let her father's name be tarnished and decided to find the cause of the suicide herself. Further investigation revealed that Robert had taken his own life out of remorse for executing innocent, including Aaron Zaz. Aaron's wrongful death haunted him. Before his demise, Aaron cryptically mentioned Zulina Kyle to Robert. This prompted Kathy to assume the mantle of Batwoman in pursuit of the truth. However, Zulina met an untimely end before divulging any information. Delving into the archival journals of the original Mondial, Kathy uncovered a startling history. The Mondials, survivors of a crash landing on Earth 5 centuries prior, embraced chaos inspired by the tales of Gotham's Batman from the long-destroyed Earth. Over generations, they orchestrated crime, framed the blameless, and publicly executed them for societal entertainment. This was how the Mondials ruled, through fear and discipline. Armed with this knowledge, Kathy confronted Commissioner Mondial and his cohorts. She fought valiantly and emerged victorious in the showdown. Instead of succumbing to vengeance, she chose to spare Mondial's life on the day of his scheduled execution. She broke the executioner's axe into two halves. In doing so, Kathy vowed that the House of the Bat would never resort to killing, thus honoring the essence of the original legend. KLA, Kingdom Come. The power of visions of the future was passed on from a dying Wesley Dodds to his old friend, Pastor Norman McKay, where Norman had visions of the impending Armageddon. The world was now full of new generations of superheroes, who gave little importance to morals and codes and innocent human lives. Sensing Norman's power, the Spectre took him on a journey to guide himself and beat witness to the path to Armageddon. Norman and Spectre were drawn to an old Superman, who had previously walked away from humanity. Many years ago, the young hero Magog had killed Joker for killing everyone in the Daily Planet. Burdened with personal loss and witnessing the people of the world hail Magog for his harsher ways, Superman had left, but Diana implored Superman to come back. He watched the latest news. He came to know that the entirety of Kansas was obliterated as the parasite had punctured Captain Atom, who went on the mission on the orders of Magog. Seeing how heroism had fallen, Superman came back and reformed the League with the old members. Their mission was simple: to tame the superheroes and make them learn codes and morals. Reform them, even if it meant imprisoning them for good, just for the time being. But the United Nations didn't agree with his methods. He met an old and broken Bruce and extended his hand of friendship. Bruce refused, as he didn't agree with Superman's totalitarian approach to curb down power. He secretly had his own group of superheroes running errands for him. Norman and Spectre were further drawn to a new threat: Lex Luthor's Mankind Liberation Front. Lex intended to use the battle between Superman's Justice League and the rogue metahumans to make them rulers of the world. And he had an ace up his sleeve: a brainwashed Billy Batson, aka Captain Marvel. As Superman apprehended Magog and subdued the young heroes, he also worked with Mr. Miracle and Barda to create a gulag in Kansas in order to contain and reform them. Bruce had teamed up with Lex to understand the involvement of Billy Batson. The Armageddon was at hand when Lex ordered Billy to turn into Captain Marvel and destroy the gulag, giving rise to a war. Batman apprehended Lex but couldn't stop Billy. Superman speeded toward the gulag from stopping the breakout. However, he was stopped by Billy, now Captain Marvel. As Norman and Spectre Spectre watched. Marvel tore open the Gulag, and the war to end all wars ensued. The United Nations also ordered Black Hawks to drop nuclear warheads and stop the war. Bruce arrived as Batman with his covert team and tried to stop Diana from spreading violence. Diana finally came around. They deactivated 2 warheads, but the third one was dropped. Although beaten severely by Marvel, Superman stopped him. He requested Marvel not to stop him from destroying the warhead. He told Marvel to fight the brainwashing. Inspired by his words, Marvel sacrificed himself by detonating the warhead in the air. However, there were immense casualties. Enraged, Superman flew off to destroy the United Nations building. Norman stopped him and showed him the error of his ways. In the aftermath, Bruce transformed Wayne Manor into a hospital, employing Lex Luthor and members of his Mankind Liberation Front. Wonder Woman resumed her role as the Princess of Paradise Island and began mentoring superhumans, while Green Lantern took a position at the UN. Superman revitalized the barren Kansas wasteland into fertile farmland and assumed his Clark Kent persona. The Spectre revealed his human side, Jim Corrigan, to Norman McKay and guided him back to his church, where Norman shared a message of hope with his congregation. A year later, Clark and Diana gave Bruce the responsibility of being their baby's godfather. League of Justice. This elseworldly tale was penned by Ed Harrigan and illustrated by Dick Giordano, and hit the shelves in 1996. In a realm called Judith, Ed Harrigan penned and Dick Giordano illustrated a tale of magic and rebellion. The kingdom of Judith was under the oppressive rule of Luthor, a tyrant magician with ambitions to control his own multiverse through necromancy. He discovered an infant from Krypton and raised him to be his deadly minion, Sovereign. Bruce Wayne, known as the Batmancer, led a resistance against Sovereign, guided indirectly by the Lady of Birds, powerful sorceress determined to liberate Judith. One fateful day, the lady accidentally brought 4 teenagers, Fred, Elsie, Neil, Ken, through the Elseworld gate and tasked them with overthrowing Sovereign. If they failed, they'd be trapped in Judith forever. The teenagers, alongside Longbow Green Arrow, Phaeton, Atomus the Palmer, Batmancer, the Martian, and the Green Knight, waged a fierce battle against Luthor and Sovereign. At the need of the hour, sorcery and sacrifice, they gained the powers of the superheroes they fought alongside. One half of them held the fort against the Sovereign and his army with the Green Knight, while the other half went with Batmancer to seek the help of the Hawk tribe. They attacked Luthor's palace. Ken used his Martian powers to phase through each floor, while Neil took Phaeton's talisman and gained the power to run. With the help of Ken's mental commands, Neil was able to break out of a never-ending loop inside the palace. On the other hand, Batmancer faced Sovereign himself. Neil took out the Kryptonian gem, one of the batteries that Luthor was getting power from, and went straight to Batmancer and Sovereign's fight. Sovereign was weakened with the radiation of the gem. Batmancer's pet Blythe ate Luthor amongst all this chaos. They reconvened at Bird Palace, and there Fred got the power of the Green Knight and Elsie got the power of the Amazonian princess. Then they set off for their final confrontation. In the final fight, Luthor's essence tried to rebuild itself using all the magic of the land, and Sovereign fought the heroes in his golden armor. But Neil took the Krypton gem and phased it into Sovereign's chest, incapacitating him. Luthor's essence tried to absorb what was left of Sovereign. When Neil restored him, angry at Luthor, Sovereign struck at the heart of his magic, obliterating it and dying in the process. The Bird Lady took Luthor's leftover soul and went back to the source of the magic, battling him for all eternity. With their quest complete, Fred, Elsie, and Neil returned to their world. However, Ken chose to stay behind, now imbued with the powers of the Martian to continue serving and protecting Judith. Batman Dark Knight Dynasty. This 1997 graphic novel, written by Mike W. Barr and illustrated by Scott Hampton, Gary Frank, and Scott McDaniel, spans 3 distinct timelines, each rich with its own intrigue and heroism. In the dark past of 1212, Templar Knight Joshua Wainwright faced the immortal Vandal Savage, who had stolen a massive gold shipment. Savage's immortality came from radiation emitted by a meteor that had crashed to Earth. Determined to regain the meteor's power, Savage created a sphere, but Joshua thwarted his plans by throwing him into it. Despite Joshua's vow to stop Savage across the ages, Savage, posing as a Templar leader, framed Joshua for gold theft, leading to Joshua being burned at the stake. In the dark present of the 20th century, tragedy struck Bruce Wayne on his wedding day with the murder of his parents. Disguised as Vincent Sinclair, Savage infiltrated Bruce's life, aiming to use Wayne Enterprises' space shuttle to capture the meteor. Inspired by an ancient painting of Joshua, Bruce took on the mantle of the Bat and began his investigation. Ultimately, Bruce stopped Savage's attempt to acquire the meteor Meteor, resulting in Bruce's fatal re-entry while Savage survived. In the dark future of 2050, a technologically advanced new Gotham emerged, where humans and intelligent apes coexisted. Brenna Wayne, vice president of Wayne Tech, discovered the mysterious deaths of the past 13 Wayne generations, each donning bat-themed attire before their demise. Taking on the Batwoman persona, Brenna investigated Savage and confronted him on the Meteor, which was intended to crash on Earth. Savage was left adrift in space on the Meteor, while Brenna successfully returned to Earth alive. Thrillkiller. This Elseworld crime noir tale was written by Howard Chaykin and illustrated by Dan Brereton. It was released in 1997. Set in 1961, the story unfolded against the backdrop of the sexual revolution and the Vietnam War. Despite Gotham's hopeful trajectory, crime and political corruption remained rampant. Barbara Gordon's childhood was marred by the brutal murder of her mother. Seeking solace, she ran away to join the circus. There, she met and fell in love with acrobat Richard Grouster. The two eventually left the circus to start a life together. Bruce Wayne's life took a tragic turn with the loss of his parents. Forced to sell everything to settle his father's debts, Bruce grew up in an orphanage. He became a hardened detective with the Gotham City Police Department. Barbara, now the owner of Wayne Manor, teamed up with Rickett to fight crime as Batgirl and Robin. Bruce, assigned to bringing these vigilantes to justice, uncovered deeper corruption involving the city council and the mayor's office. In the midst of this drama, Lady Joker, Bianca Steeplechase, emerged as the mastermind behind the mayor's criminal operations. She murdered Rickett's family, escalating the conflict. Bruce joined forces with Barbara, and together they exposed corruption in the Penguin Lounge. In the final showdown, Batgirl and Robin sabotaged a secret meeting between Mayor Ryan and Lumati. They took photos of Lumati giving money to Ryan in order to buy Vermont. They also incapacitated all their bodyguards. Bruce was also there, dressed as a waiter, and he incapacitated Detective Duell. But in the chaos, Bianca suddenly jumped and laid her poison kiss on Robin's lips. The police arrived, and Barbara and Bruce rushed Rickett to the hospital, but he succumbed to death on the way. All the criminals were apprehended except for Bianca, who later came back under the disguise of Blanche, the bride of mayoral front-runner John Charles Gregory. Rickett's death prompted Bruce to adopt the mantle of Batman, continuing the pursuit of justice alongside Barbara. Thrillkiller 62. The sequel to Thrillkiller was released in 1998 from the same creative team of talents. It was 1962. Bruce Wayne attended Detective Larry Lance's funeral, where Gordon informed him that Larry was killed while he was investigating a case involving cigarettes, named narcotics. Bruce noticed that Larry's widow Dina was unbearably silent. Bruce didn't stay there for long as he was already a wanted man, as he was framed by Harvey for killing Selina. As Batman, Bruce started working with Batgirl in order to crack the narcotics case that was slowly killing the younger generation in America. But Barbara started sleepwalking. Reminiscing about Rickett, Bruce asked Alfred to deliver some money to Dina, but Dina rejected the financial help. Barbara attended sessions with her shrink, Dr. Enigma, who put her on a prescription of Valium. At a charity fundraiser, Barbara seemingly recognized that the mayor's wife, Blanche, was Bianca and tried to attack her, but Gordon stopped her. A college student named Haley started going around with a boy named Roy Harper, and Bruce was mesmerized by the voice of a chanteuse at a nightclub, who called herself Black Canary. While Barbara gave up being Batgirl, Bruce continued as Batman, charting his way up and making connections to the Nazi war criminal Otto Saunders. At a raid, Roy and Haley were kidnapped by Kruk, while Batman uncovered that Dina was actually Canary and was working undercover to frame Saunders. Meanwhile, Barbara became the new Robin, while Roy and Haley were held up at Saunders and Blanche's base. Blanche was revealed to be Bianca Steeplechase. With Canary's help, Batman infiltrated Saunders' base and freed Roy and Haley. Canary killed Kruk, but was incapacitated by Saunders. Batman was knocked unconscious by Haley, who was revealed to Harley, Bianca's partner. While Roy called the police, Robin listened on the radio and rushed to the location. Bruce apprehended Saunders and Harley, while Bianca sank in the river while fighting Robin. In the aftermath, Barbara went on a long vacation with her father. Saunders was captured, Harvey Dent became the mayor and chose the now cleared Bruce Wayne as commissioner. Alfred started training Roy as the new Robin, while Harley was still at large. Batman Mask. Mike Grell crafted and illustrated this Elseworlds tale, inspired by Gaston Leroux's classic The Phantom of the Opera. It was released in 1997. This tale is set at the dawn of the 20th century. As Bruce Wayne wrote his entries into his journal sitting in his uncanny cave of oddities, the bat signal came up. Batman was summoned by Chief O'Hara and Commissioner Gordon, and so he answered. Gordon revealed to Batman that 3 men broke out of the jail. 2 were caught, but the 3rd disappeared on the rooftops. Batman immediately started chasing that criminal. The chase led to an opera house during a performance of The Mask, starring Harvey Dent and his co-star Laura Avian. Batman subdued the thug, but while doing so, an oil lamp fell from above and Harvey's costume caught onto the fire. The accident caused Harvey's face and psyche to be tragically scarred, leading to his replacement by another actor. Bruce Wayne found comfort in dating Laura Avian, the play's lead actress, while on the other hand, Harvey secluded himself from everyone. Unbeknownst to Bruce, Harvey had developed an obsessive love for Laura, which led to stalking and eventually murdering the show's manager when he sought to replace Harvey. Later, Harvey went to meet Laura and inspired her to dance and liberate herself. However, he ran away scared when he saw that Batman was keeping watch over her. That night, on her way home from the theater, Laura was attacked by 3 assailants. Batman, who was on her constant watch, swooped in and incapacitated the thugs. Then he took her to his cave. They shared an intimate moment when Laura unmasked him and ascertained what she already knew. Bruce revealed to her how he came to be Batman. Laura's discovery of Bruce's dual identity as Batman caused an inner conflict between her feelings for the Caped Crusader and Harvey, who had once inspired her artistic side. But she eventually settled on Bruce and planned for the marriage and honeymoon. On the night of the play, Harvey killed his replacement and took the stage. Driven by his obsession, he tried to flee as Batman arrived and spotted the corpse. Harvey was jealous of the fact that Laura and the Batman were coming close. A dangerous fight broke out upstage. When Batman punched open Harvey's mask, in his shame and jealousy, he jumped on a chandelier and attempted to crash it on Laura and kill her, for Harvey didn't want anyone else to have her. Cut the chandelier loose, but unfortunately succumbed to his own death as Batman swooped in and saved Laura. Batman saved Laura, who, in her grief, asked him to accompany her to Ballet Parisienne. Bound to Gotham's chaos, Bruce declined. He realized that Harvey was right. Laura didn't belong to his dark world. She belonged to the world of limelight. Laura left, heartbroken, and Bruce stayed behind to face his solitude. Daredevil, Batman, Eye for an Eye. D.G. Chichester wrote this 1997 Elseworlds graphic novel, which was brought to life by Scott McDaniel's illustrations. Set on crossover Earth 7642, the story brought together Daredevil and Batman to stop Two-Face, who had teamed up with Marvel's Mr. Hyde. Batman tracked the villains to New York, where Daredevil was also on their trail, investigating computer equipment thefts. Initially, Batman and Daredevil clashed and even fought each other. However, they eventually decided to work together. Two-Face and Mr. Hyde had stolen a computer chip with human brain-like capabilities, which required organic brain tissue to function. Two-Face's plan was to trick Mr. Hyde into consuming a drug that would speed up the chip's formation and eventually kill Hyde, allowing Two-Face to extract the chip from his brain. It was revealed that Harvey Dent and Matt Murdock were once friends but had 2 different views on how to handle criminals. Over time, Daredevil had come to embrace Dent's perspective on rehabilitation. During a confrontation, Daredevil managed to convince Two-Face to spare Hyde's life. Two-Face agreed to help Daredevil and Batman cure Mr. Hyde of the drugs in his system before disappearing. He later attributed this act of goodness to the last lingering influence of Harvey Dent. The story ended with Bruce Wayne and Matt Murdock meeting themselves in their civilian identities. Bruce warned Matt not to return to Gotham, which Matt took as a challenge, as he had the habit of taking up dares. Batman Daredevil, King of New York. This tale was a direct sequel of Daredevil, Batman, Eye for an Eye, and came out in 1999. It was crafted by the same creative team of Alan Grant and Eduardo Barreto. On crossover Earth 7642, Daredevil tracked Catwoman to Gotham after she stole confidential files about Kingpin and handed them to Scarecrow. Batman, asserting his jurisdiction over Gotham, intervened, which led to a clash of ideologies between the 2 vigilantes. Realizing Scarecrow's grand plans for New York, Batman and Daredevil reluctantly joined forces to combat their common adversary. The plot revealed Scarecrow's sinister scheme. He aimed to seize control of Kingpin's arms deals, using his fear-inducing gas to manipulate the crime lord's henchmen. Seeking to become the King of New York, Scarecrow unleashed chaos, violence, and fear across the city. Despite Kingpin thwarting Scarecrow's assassination attempt, the confrontation escalated atop the Statue of Liberty, where Scarecrow planned to release his fear gas. Batman and Daredevil intervened, sparking a fierce battle. Scarecrow deployed his fear gas on Daredevil, but the man without fear resisted its effects with laughter. They managed to capture Scarecrow, but Kingpin escaped, threatening to expose their identities and pursue legal action against them. While they achieved a partial victory, the battle left lingering uncertainties and unresolved conflicts. Elseworlds' finest. In 1997, the creative team of John Francis Moore and Kieran Dwyer conjured up this thrilling Elseworlds tale. Clark Kent learned from the eyewitness Jimmy Olsen that Professor Thaddeus Lang was being assaulted by some thugs. Clark was gifted with extraordinary powers since childhood, yet he never donned the iconic Superman cape. Instead, he masked his superhuman abilities with a mild-mannered persona, carving out a life as an investigative reporter at the Daily Planet. He started investigating Lang's abduction when he met Lana, Lang's daughter, and Clark's old friend. friend. She revealed that the Argos Codex had also been taken, which had the map to the city of Argos. This map, discovered by the legendary adventurer Jason and his Argonauts, led to the hidden city of Argos, filled with riches. Professor Lang was kidnapped in order to translate the Codex. Later, while saving Lana from getting abducted, Clark learned that Ra's al Ghul was the mastermind behind the abduction. This set Clark, along with his companions Lana, Jimmy, and adventurer Bruce Wayne, on a daring mission to rescue the Professor and retrieve the Codex of Argos. They infiltrated the League's camp, where Ra's was brought to life at the Lazarus Pit and Lana found her father. Ra's revealed his plan to use a Kryptonian Godstone at Argos to destroy Earth so that his bloodline could rule it. He chose Clark as his daughter Talia's groom. However, Bruce abducted Talia and escaped with his friends. Bruce stood and faced the League alone and gave his friends a window to flee. However, while fighting, he got stabbed with a poisoned knife and fell deep into the cave. While searching for an exit, he came to the burial chamber of the Bat Emperor Ka. On the other hand, pirate Alexei Luthor sabotaged Clark's ship and took them on board his vessel. He too wanted the Godstone. While Luthor told Thaddeus his plans for the Godstone, Bruce, now dressed in Ka's armor, interrogated the Leaguers about Ra's location. During a bicker, Luthor weakened Clark with a piece of Godstone that he had and threw Luke from his aircraft, thinking that he'd killed him. But instead, Bruce saved him and they charted their way to the Godstone. In Argos, Clark encountered the ancient Kryptonian Godstone known as the Harbinger, a divine entity capable of creating and destroying worlds. Upon touching it, Ra's was reduced to ashes, but it accepted Clark. Clark touched it in a trance, and the Harbinger unveiled Clark's Kryptonian heritage, filling his mind with a perilous mandate to follow Kryptonian orders and establish a new world order on Earth. Terrified by the potential devastation he might bring, Clark pleaded with Bruce to end his life. In a heart-wrenching moment, Bruce reluctantly plunged a blade into Clark's heart, killing him. Luthor took the chamber of the Godstone and fled in his aircraft, taking Jimmy as hostage, and Bruce followed them. But hope was not lost. With a touch of the Lazarus Pit, magic, and the revitalizing power of sunlight, Talia brought Clark back to life. Freed from the Harbinger's dark influence, Clark finally embraced his destiny as a savior. While Bruce and Luthor fought on the aircraft, it crashed and started sinking into the sea. But Clark swooped in and lifted all of them up. Clark and Bruce ultimately apprehended Luthor and destroyed the Godstone. Jimmy and Jerry Kane later wrote about their adventures in comic strips, while old Lana reminisced about the world's finest time they'd spent together. Batman, Dark Knight of the Round Table. This tale was spun by Bob Layton and brought to life with the illustrations of Dick Giordano and was released in 1998. This story is set against the majestic backdrop of King Arthur's era. Arthur's half-sister, Morgana Le Fay, seduced him and bore an illegitimate son, Mordred. Morgana, driven by dark ambitions, sought to place Mordred on the throne, ushering in a dark age. To counter this threat, Arthur banished all male children, including those of the Wainsmores, from England. But Morgana, foreseeing the rise of the House of Wainsmores through a vision of bats, conjured a bat demon to eliminate the demons, attacked their ship. But young Bruce, the only survivor, washed ashore on the mystical Isle of Avalon. There, he was adopted by the three queens of Avalon and trained to become a mighty warrior. Guided by Merlin, appeared to him as a giant bat, Bruce took on the identity of Batman. Armed with weapons forged in dragon's breath and cooled in its blood, blessed by the Lady of the Lake, he wielded the sword of Sir Thomas Wainsmore. Batman set out on his quest, defeating Mordred's forces and rescuing a young orphan named Richard Grayson. Alfred, Batman's loyal companion, dubbed Richard as the new Robin. Together, Batman and his allies confronted the sinister alliance of Ra's, Talia, and Mordred. In a fierce battle against Ra's and his zombie army, a fit of rage led to Robin's tragic death. Later, hearing the false news of Batman's death, Talia also committed suicide. Heartbroken but strong, Batman then led Arthur's army to victory, sending Ra's to hell with the help of a swarm of bats. After destroying Mordred's army, Arthur jumped into a final fight with Mordred. In a poignant final showdown, Batman slew Morgana with his father's sword. Arthur killed Mordred, but he too was mortally wounded. Batman brought Arthur back to Avalon. Arthur passed away. Before burying him, Batman gave up the Excalibur to be buried with Arthur. Merlin told Bruce that he and Arthur were to rest in timeless Avalon until England faced another peril. Flash forward to 1940, we see a Batplane battling Nazi forces. Batman's legacy had endured the test of time, indeed. Joker. In 1998, Bob Hall both wrote and illustrated a gripping Elseworlds story that took readers to a futuristic Gotham under the iron rule of a tyrant known as the Bruce. Each year, during the annual Night of Blood, citizens competed for the chance to overthrow the Bruce and claim the mantle of Batman. To do so, they first had to defeat one of Batman's surgically enhanced enemies, each one transformed into a notorious villain from Batman's rogues gallery. At the heart of this resistance was Joe Collins, who, along with his girlfriend Maria and their friend Dar, hatched a plan to infiltrate infiltrate Bruce's citadel via the Batcave. However, their mission was compromised when Dar betrayed them. In a desperate act, Joe silenced Dar before he could disclose the Batcave's location. One of Bruce's henchmen, Dr. Clibon, surgically transformed Joe into a Joker, but kept his memories intact to ensure a fair fight. In a cruel twist, Bruce crushed Maria's larynx, rendering her a mute Robin. It was an old recording of the original Bruce Wayne, speaking about the need for a savior in Gotham's darkest hour, that reignited Joe's determination. Inspired, he donned the cape and cowl of Batman. The climax of the story saw a fierce battle on the roof of the Citadel, where Joe ultimately defeated the Bruce. In a final, poignant moment, Maria used Clibon's surgical laser to deliver the fatal blow, urging Bruce to acknowledge his mortality. With the Bruce defeated, Joe and Maria stepped into their new roles as Gotham's Batman and Robin, upholding the legacy they'd fought so valiantly to reclaim. Batman: Reign of Terror. This alternate tale was imagined by Mike W. Barr and brought to life by the talented artist Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and was released in 1998. The year was 1794. Captain Bruce Wayne, once a soldier in the First Coalition, had grown weary of the relentless bloodshed of the French Revolution. Disheartened, he abandoned his military post and returned to Paris, now under the iron fist of the Committee of Public Safety. It was there that he reunited with his beloved wife, Jennifer St. Cyr. Bruce soon learned that Jennifer's parents, staunch opponents of the committee, were destined for the guillotine, infamously known as the Blade of Death. Desperate to save them, he heeded his father Thomas's advice and infiltrated the committee, hoping to sway its leader, Maximilien Robespierre. Despite his earnest attempts, Bruce's pleas fell on deaf ears. Determined to protect the innocent, Bruce took on the persona of a bat, becoming a harbinger of doom for those who preyed on the helpless. As La Chauve-Souris, the Batman, he daringly rescued Jennifer's family and many others. However, his daring deeds couldn't go unnoticed forever. Hervé Dente, a ruthless leader within the committee, captured him, revealing his true identity. Bruce's mother Martha and wife Jennifer were also taken hostage. In a bold move, Bruce's sister Rochelle donned the mantle of Robin, aiding in his escape. Together, Batman and Robin embarked on a perilous mission to save Martha and Jennifer from a flying blimp. They clashed with Hervé and Thomas, who had shockingly aligned himself with the committee. In a fierce confrontation, Batman scarred Hervé's face, leaving him grotesquely disfigured. The battle reached a tragic climax when Thomas attempted to kill his own son, resulting in an explosion that claimed both his and Hervé's lives. With the committee's oppressive rule finally dismantled, Bruce, along with his family, sought a fresh start in England, leaving behind the chaos and carnage of the French Revolution. Batman: Two Faces. In 1998, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning brought a unique twist to Gotham's dark alleys, inspired by R.L. Stevenson's strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. With Anthony Williams and Tom Palmer's artistry, they painted a Victorian-era Gotham City. A flashback from Gordon to Peregrine White sets the stage. The story began in 1886 at a grand gala hosted by millionaire Bruce Wayne, where he unveiled the mysterious Twilight Orchid. The event was attended by Gordon, Pamela Isley, and Gotham's elite. It took a dark turn when Two-Face and his thugs stormed in, took the flower, and kidnapped Pamela. They fled in a blimp, and Bruce followed them, imploring Two-Face to stop. But instead, Two-Face flipped his coin, decided threw Pamela to her death from the blimp, while Bruce watched helplessly. Racked with guilt, Bruce vowed to cure Two-Face's split personality. Using the Twilight Orchid that Pamela had clutched in her hand while she fell from the blimp, he concocted a potion that granted him superhuman strength. With his new power, he aimed to dismantle Two-Face's criminal empire. He assumed the moniker of a bat in order to facilitate this quest. He started attacking Two-Face's hideouts that rattled Two-Face to the core. Meanwhile, Gotham's underworld was plagued by a white-skinned madman known as the Joker, who terrorized Selina Kyle's brothel and brutally murdered a sex worker. Batman's pursuit of the Joker led him to a confrontation with Selina, now the fierce Catwoman. Despite initial resistance, they teamed up to hunt down the Joker. In a brutal clash, the Joker, also endowed with superhuman strength, left Selina paralyzed from the waist down. Ignoring Alfred's warnings, Bruce's obsession drove him to consume an even stronger potion. Fevered state, Batman sent letters summoning Gordon and Two-Face to a fateful meeting. That night, Batman revealed to them that he was Bruce Wayne. He'd also brought a perfect concoction of the potion for Harvey. It would definitely cure his split personality. Then, shockingly, he turned into the Joker in front of them. He incapacitated both with his superhuman strength and was about to throw Harvey from the rooftop. In a brief moment of clarity, Batman hurled himself to his death. Harvey tried saving him, but Bruce let go, imploring Harvey to drink the potion and recreate himself. Honoring Bruce's final wish, Two-Face drank the potion, curing his dual nature. Adopting the Bat costume, Two-Face emerged as Gotham's new vigilante, determined to continue Batman's crusade for justice. Superman Batman Generations 1. John Byrne wrote and drew this unique story in 1999, which spans several decades and generations, exploring the enduring legacies of Superman and Batman. Unlike typical narratives, this Elseworlds tale allowed characters to age in real time, providing a fresh perspective on their iconic journeys. In 1939, Superman and Batman first met at the Metropolis World's Fair, overcoming their initial distrust to defeat Ultra-Humanite. By 1949, Clark Kent was married to Lois Lane. He teamed up with Bruce Wayne to rescue the pregnant Lois from Lex Luthor and the Joker, resulting in their unborn son being exposed to gold kryptonite, stripping him of potential superpowers. In 1959, Batman and Superman tricked Batmite and Mr. Mxyzptlk into turning on each other, and Bruce Wayne retired, with Dick Grayson becoming Batman and Bruce Wayne Jr. training as Robin. Kara Kent's emerging superpowers were suppressed by a red sun radiation necklace, and an aged Lex Luthor revealed Joel Kent's heritage to him. In 1969, Kara Kent assisted as Supergirl, while Lois was diagnosed with cancer and Joel was reported MIA in Vietnam. Dick Grayson, the new Batman, was killed by an aged Joker disguised as Joker Jr., prompting Bruce Wayne Jr. to switch identities with him to preserve the Batman legacy. In 1979, Bruce Wayne Jr. and Kara Kent planned to marry, but their wedding was disrupted by a superpowered Joel Kent, manipulated by Lex Luthor, who killed Kara and Lois. Joel died from an unstable serum, and Superman learned Joel had a son. Bruce Sr., captured by Ra's al Ghul, was revealed to have survived due to the Lazarus Pit. In 1989, Bruce Jr. arrested Superman for killing Ultra-Humanite, who was posing as Lex Luthor. Superman, exposed to gold kryptonite, inadvertently killed the villain while escaping. He pled guilty and was sentenced to the Phantom Zone for 10 years. In 1999, Bruce Wayne Sr. was revived using Ra's Lazarus Pit. He turned the League of Shadows into a force for good. Batman freed Superman from the Phantom Zone, and they found a cure for gold kryptonite. Superman restored his powers and shared the cure with his grandson, Clark Wayne, aka Nightwing, before leaving Earth to protect Cosmos. In 2919, an aged Batman and Superman reminisced about their first teenage meeting. They decided to leave their galaxy to help another, joined by Lana Lang, who had also gained a long life and married Superman. Superman Batman Generations 2. In 2001, Generations 2 came out. It followed the dynamic duo's adventures with other DC Universe characters, with stories jumping 11 years apart from 1942 to 2019. In 1942, Hawkman and the Black Hawks battled a Nazi robot in Europe. Green Lantern saved Hawkman but exhausted his ring. Black Hawk Chuck sacrificed himself to stop a rocket. Superman and Spectre disarmed the robot, revealing Ultra-Humanite inside, who escaped using kryptonite. In Gotham, Lois Lane discovered Luthor's involvement and was captured but saved by Batman disguised as Luthor's henchman. In 1953, Commissioner Gordon warned Bruce of a new threat, the head of the demon. Wonder Girl searched for Steve Trevor in North Korea, who died as Diana Trevor gave birth to a girl. Lois Lane gave birth to Kara, with Superman arriving late after being rescued by Green Lantern Abin Sur. In 1964, Bruce Wayne Jr. was stopped by his mother from joining Batman 2. Kara Kent debuted as Supergirl. She and Bruce Jr. teamed up with Kid Flash against villains, but were captured by Gorilla Grodd. Diana's daughter, identifying as Wonder Girl, rescued them. The teens formed the Justice League. In 1975, Batman III confronted a haunted Joker in Arkham. With help from spirits, Grayson's ghost found peace. Bruce Wayne refused to reveal his identity to the dying Joker. Hal Jordan retired from test piloting to enter politics. In 1986, Superman was tormented by a Luthor simulation. Batman III, unstable after Supergirl's death, attacked Green Lantern. The Justice League intervened, but Batman fled home, seeking help from his wife. In 1997, Batman III instructed his son Clark Wayne to become Batman. Clark chose the identity of Nightwing. Nightwing fought a robot with Superman's brief help. Sinestro threatened Hal Jordan, but Jordan used a Green Lantern ring to defeat him and accepted the role of Green Lantern. In 2008, Nightwing battled a revived Lex Luthor with help from Cyborg, Flash 5, and Hal Jordan. Clark Wayne married Amanda Mason. Bruce Wayne and Bruce Jr. visited the dying Mrs. Wayne, who revealed a secret. In 2019, Batman and Nightwing visited Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Using the chronoscope, they discovered Pa Kent had tried to prevent the Waynes' murder, but learned the Waynes chose not to change the future. Understanding their deaths were crucial for creating Batman. Superman Batman Generations 3. The timeless saga continued in 2003 with Generations 3 from the same creative team. The tale here jumped 100 years, starting from 1925. In Century 20, Clark Kent, Pete Ross, and Lana Lang were visited by Saturn Girl, who sought Superboy's help against alien invaders. Superboy, aided by Bruce Wayne, fought off the creatures. Lois Lane and Lana traveled into the future with Saturn Girl's time machine, and a dying Saturn Girl erased everyone's memory of the event. In Century 21, Nightwing introduced his daughters, Supergirl Supergirl Red and Supergirl Blue, while facing an escaped robotic Lex Luthor. Superman, troubled by memories of the 1925 invasion, sought answers on New Genesis. The Supergirls and OMAC battled Luthor, who eventually detonated a bomb, claiming it was the end of the world. In Century 22, Luthor's device disabled all power sources, leaving civilization in ruins. Survivors, including Batman and his descendants, lived underground. Superman had vanished. Batman revived the Brother Eye satellite and discovered Kamandi, a descendant of OMAC, preparing to use OMAC against the parademons. In Century 23, Tiffany Trevor, the second Wonder Woman, was fatally injured by parademons. Her mother failed to revive her. Wonder Woman resumed fighting the parademons. Superman, stranded on New Genesis, regained repressed memories of the 1925 invasion. In Century 24, Batman revealed to Wonder Woman that Bruce Jr.'s longevity was due to the usage of a Lazarus pit. Bruce Jr. later came to know that he was indeed Bruce's son. As he died in battle with the London gangs, Kara Kent's ghost guided him to the afterlife. In Century 25, Supergirl Blue fell in love with Green Lantern Ator but was stuck at age 11. Lex Luthor's robot went on a rampage. Ator sacrificed himself to contain an atomic explosion. Supergirl Blue used gold kryptonite to age normally but lost her powers. In Century 26, Superman returned to Earth and learned of the parademons' century-long attacks. Luthor had killed Clark Wayne and Supergirl Red with kryptonite radiation. Batman and Supergirl Blue used Luthor's serum to gain immunity and defeated him. Superman found Saturn Girl's body and flew to the 30th century. In Century 19, Superman was hurled to the 19th century, meeting Mr. Miracle, Metron, and a young Jonathan Kent. After a confrontation with Jonah Hex, Martha Clark was injured. Superman ensured her survival, preventing her from having children. Metron placed Superman in suspended animation to wait for the future. In Century 27, a parademon, separated from his squad, shared his history with an elderly Supergirl Blue. Darkseid's essence revived Apocalypse's machinery, creating sentient parademons to defeat Earth's heroes. Supergirl Blue killed the parademon to keep their sentience secret. In Century 28, Batman and Supergirl Blue buried their son. Superman visited New Genesis, meeting his children with beautiful Dreamer. Parademons attacked, killing all new guards. Darkseid killed Superman's children and beautiful Dreamer. Superman returned to Earth with the tragic news. In Century 29, Lana Lang and Lois Lane arrived in 2825, discovering Superman's identity and witnessing a parademon battle. The heroes used the time bubble to travel to the final parademon attack in 2925, first rescuing Saturn Girl, erasing everyone's memories before heading to the future. In Century 30, amid Darkseid's attack, Supergirl Blue died, destroying the Sky Scorcher. The heroes traveled back to Darkseid's resurrection, where Green Lantern and Wonder Woman perished. Batman and Superman defeated Darkseid, booting the timeline and restoring peace, with memories of Supergirl Blue fading. JLA, The Nail. In 1998, Alan Davis wrote and illustrated a captivating Elseworlds saga spanning 3 issues. In this alternate reality, Jonathan and Martha Kent's car got a flat tire due to a nail, and they never went out the day Kal-El's rocket landed on Earth, so they never found him. As time progressed, the Justice League was formed and composed of Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Hawkwoman, The Atom, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. However, the landscape of Metropolis was dramatically altered by Mayor Lex Luthor, Vice Mayor Jimmy Olsen, and journalist Perry White, who orchestrated a deceitful anti-metahuman campaign. The events took a dark turn when a tragic battle left Green Arrow paralyzed, leading him to view the Justice League as an extraterrestrial threat. Hawkman lost his life in this same clash. As the campaign gained momentum, both metahuman organizations and supervillains were systematically hunted down and eradicated. The Joker, equipped with energy-generating gauntlets, exploited the ensuing chaos at Arkham Asylum, crushed Robin and Batgirl to their deaths, while Batman watched helplessly. Just as he was about to kill Batman, Catwoman intervened. In a dramatic, televised confrontation, Batman neutralized the Joker by breaking his neck. Amidst growing public distrust of the Justice League, Batman and Catwoman retreated to the Batcave. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Lois Lane uncovered that Jimmy Olsen was the true mastermind behind the anti-metahuman campaign. Jimmy had experimented on himself to become a Kryptonian hybrid and had conducted similar experiments on other metahumans. Batman, Catwoman, the Atom, and the Flash helped the Justice League escape their persecutors. In a final confrontation, an Amish farmer intervened just as Jimmy was about to kill Batman. This farmer was revealed to be Clark, the last son of Krypton, who was taken in by an Amish family. Jimmy told Clark that his parents were holding his true potential back and obliterated them with his heat vision. Enraged, Clark went into a full-blown superpowered battle with Jimmy. However, his physique not sustaining the Kryptonian bonding, Jimmy disintegrated with Clark's blows. While he mourned his family, a new family extended their hand towards him, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Later, embracing his destiny, Clark joined the Justice League and became this Earth's Superman, bringing hope and strength to this world. JLA, Another Nail. Alan Davis continued the epic saga in the direct sequel to JLA, The Nail. This was released in 2004. A year after the battle between Apocalypse and New Genesis, the Green Lantern Corps intervened to prevent further devastation. In this aftermath, Big Barda stepped up as a Green Lantern following the death of a comrade. Together with Mr. Miracle, she thwarted a catastrophic device, causing Darkseid to scatter across the universe. With the central power battery weakened, Green Arrow severely injured, and Superman facing immense challenges, the stakes were higher than ever. During a mission, Superman's powers began to fade, prompting him to take a break and reconnect with the Kents and Lois Lane. The Justice League delved into disruptions in space-time, while Batman, working solo, encountered Deadman and discovered demonic invasions on Earth. A demonically empowered Joker launched an attack on Batman. Meanwhile, Barda and Mr. Miracle uncovered the Limbo Cell, a consuming entity causing the space-time disturbances. Superman's efforts to destroy it failed until Amazo, now enhanced with Oliver Queen's intellect, intervened. In a final act of heroism, Queen sacrificed himself to eliminate the Limbo Cell, restoring balance to reality. Batman then ventured into hell with the Joker. While the Joker was ultimately lost, Batman was saved by the spirits of Robin and Batgirl. Emerging from his personal trials, Batman reunited with the Justice League, ultimately forgiving himself for killing the Joker. The Batman Chronicles, Berlin, Batman. In 1998, Paul Pope crafted an intriguing Elseworlds tale set in Germany, where he both wrote and illustrated the story. The protagonist, Baruch Wayne, witnessed the brutal murder of his Jewish parents by an anti-Semitic mob when he was just a boy. This traumatic event ignited a lifelong quest for vengeance against all forms of crime and injustice. As he grew older, Baruch honed his body and mind, preparing himself for his mission. After inheriting his parents' wealth and land, he found inspiration in a bat that flew into his house. He decided to use the bat as a symbol to instill fear in the hearts of criminals and to strike terror into the corrupt and wealthy Nazis. By 1938, Baruch had taken on the mantle of Batman. During this time, Austrian economist Ludwig von Mises had his collection of books and notes confiscated by the police due to his outspoken opposition to the Nazi Party and the Third Reich. Baruch's friend, Commissar Garten, informed him of this. Determined to protect Mises' work and principles from being exploited, Baruch, as Batman, set out to intercept the train carrying the confiscated material. At the train yard, he attempted to halt the train but found himself surrounded by Garten's men. In a bold move, he detonated the train and managed to escape, ensuring that Mises' writings wouldn't fall into the wrong hand. Robin, Baruch's trusted assistant, later penned memoirs celebrating Batman as an inspiration to New Age heroes and rebels, embodying the spirit of freedom. The Batman Chronicles, The Bride of Leatherwing. In 1998, Chuck Dixon penned and Kike Alcetena illustrated an Elseworlds tale that unfolded like a ballad, recounting the daring exploits of Felina, the Bride of Leatherwing, from the Batman Leatherwing story. In this tale, Felina, along with Robin Redbird, embarked on a grand adventure aboard the ship known as Cat's Paw, aiming to reach Kingston Port. However, their journey took a dangerous turn when Cat's Paw was attacked. Felina was captured by the sinister Admiral Cobblepot. Admiral Cobblepot had a devious plan to hoard all the ship's riches for himself and, for a hefty ransom, deliver Felina to either the Iberian lords or the Pope. When news of this treachery reached Leatherwing, he swiftly set out to intercept Cobblepot's ships. In a calculated move, Leatherwing avoided causing harm to the crew and, upon finding Felina unharmed, seized control of Cat's Paw. In a fitting act of retribution, Leatherwing left Cobblepot stranded on a longboat in the icy ocean. The ballad concluded with a warning, advising everyone to behave properly in the presence of Felina, marking the end of this swashbuckling tale. The Batman Chronicles, Curse of the Catwoman. This horror noir came out in 1998. Written by John Francis Moore and illustrated by Kieran Dwyer, it told the tale of private investigator Bruce Wayne as he unraveled the mystery of the Society Slasher. This vicious criminal targeted high society elites, leaving them brutally slashed, but alive. During his investigation, Bruce confronted the slasher, discovering she was a woman with a terrifying weird cat persona. Bruce narrowly escaped from this feral assailant. One evening at a club, Bruce met Selina Kyle. A passionate romance quickly blossomed between them. Their love thrived for over a month until Selina abruptly disappeared without explanation. Heartbroken, Bruce threw himself into solving the Weircat case. His investigation led him to the Kincaid mansion, where he found Selina. Selina revealed a tragic story. She and Terry Kincaid were deeply in love. Terry's father vehemently opposed their relationship. After a brutal assault that left her for dead, Selina was saved by a gypsy woman who transferred her own animal spirit curse to Selina, allowing her to survive. Since then, Selina had been seeking revenge as the Weircat. Determined to help, Bruce met the gypsy woman and underwent a ritual to take on the animal spirit curse, freeing Selina from it. Cured, Selina was no longer burdened by the curse. Bruce, now transformed into a Weirbat, continued his vigilante crusade, soaring through Gotham skies in his new, fearsome guise. The Batman Chronicles, Apocalypse Girl. This captivating Elseworlds tale was written and illustrated by the Panda brothers and was released in 2000. Zaya, a resident of alternate Earth 14Q3X9, found herself at the center of an extraordinary adventure. Her father, a brilliant scientist, invented an interdimensional travel device capable of identifying frequencies and navigating through warp channels for interdimensional journeys. One fateful day, Zaya, under the influence of drugs, accidentally triggered the device and time traveled to an alternate Gotham on the brink of the millennium. In this new world, Batman was in the midst of a transformation, striving to shift from a symbol of fear to a beacon of hope. Zaya's arrival in Gotham was far from smooth. To her astonishment, her touch caused rapid decay and combustion, leading to an accidental fatality on her first night. Batman quickly deduced that Zaya's cellular structure had absorbed antimatter energy during her interdimensional travels, resulting in these destructive effects. A citywide manhunt ensued, ending in a tragic sniper shot aimed at Zaya. In a twist of fate, Zaya's father ventured into this alternate reality to rescue her. As she prepared to return home, Batman gifted her a glove. The combination of positive matter from Batman's realm and the glove reversed Zaya's affliction, ultimately saving her upon her re-entry to Earth. Batman Chronicles, The Mystery of Citizen Wayne. This short story, crafted by Brian Michael Bendis and illustrated by Michael Gaydos, was released in 2000. The mystery unfolds in a gripping tale where Bruce Wayne met an untimely end. His final word, Rosebud, became a cryptic mystery that reporter Clark Kent was determined to solve. Tasked with uncovering the meaning behind this enigmatic utterance, Kent doggedly pursued leads, questioning individuals such as Dick, Selina, Gordon, and even Joker. However, none of them could provide the revelation he sought. Kent's investigation eventually brought him to Alfred, who finally disclosed the significance of Rosebud. Alfred revealed that the pistol responsible for the tragic death of Bruce's parents in Crime Alley was a rosebud. In a poignant twist, it became clear that in his final moments, Bruce was reflecting on the pivotal moment when his Bruce Wayne persona had truly perished. The Dark Knight of Vengeance was born. The Batman Chronicles, A Silent Tale of the Bat. This silent narrative, written by Jordan B. Gorfinkel and illustrated by Dick Giordano, was released in 2000. It unfolded like a surreal dream sequence where a young Bruce walked toward the theater with Thomas and Martha, both dressed in bat suits, to watch The Mask of Zorro. As they waited in the ticket line, various incarnations of Bruce and his parents were surrounded by different versions of Batman locked in intense battle. After the movie, they made their way through Crime Alley, accompanied by Joe Chill, who guided them to the Hall of Bat. Presenting Martha with her pearls, Chill then abruptly returned them to Crime Alley. In a chilling moment, he callously shot Thomas and Martha in front of young Bruce. In a macabre twist, Chill handed Bruce a packet containing a bat suit. Donning the suit, the young Bruce assumed the mantle, emerging as the new Batman from the shadows. This story illustrated the inevitability of Batman's existence. No matter how many times he was reborn, Batman would always emerge from the dimly lit Crime Alley. Batman Tarzan, Claws of the Catwoman. This 1999 Elseworlds DC Dark Horse crossover tale was written by Ron Mars and illustrated by Igor Cordy. It began on the eve of the Martha Wayne Wing inauguration at the Gotham Museum of Natural History. Bruce Wayne met Finnegan Dent, the archaeologist responsible for procuring artifacts for the museum. Bruce detected irregularities in Dent's artifact, sensing problems with their origin checks and paperwork. Around the same time, he encountered Lord Greystoke, also known as Tarzan, who shared his concerns. Their suspicions were confirmed when they met Catwoman, who was actually Princess Kefratari from the hidden kingdom of Memnon, attempting to steal a golden cat bust. She revealed that Dent had looted the artifact from Memnon. As they discussed this, Dent's assassins ambushed them. Working together, they fended off the attackers and realized Dent's sinister plans to loot Memnon. Batman, Tarzan, and Kefratari united to stop him. Near Memnon, Dent attacked them, but Tarzan's lion, Jad Baljar, disfigured Dent. Dent then took Kefratari hostage, killed her father, and aimed to take over the throne. However, as he and Kefratari prepared to mummify the king's body, Batman and Tarzan attacked and captured them. Despite Batman's efforts to save him, Dent was pinned by falling rubble. Tarzan and Kefratari left him in the tomb to die, locking it from the outside. In the aftermath, Kefratari expressed her love for Bruce, asking him to stay. Bruce, committed to his never-ending crusade as Batman, explained that his life had already been dedicated to his mission. A friendly handshake, Bruce and Tarzan parted ways, each returning to their own jungle. Catwoman, Guardian of Gotham. This chilling Elseworlds narrative was written by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Jim Balin and was released in 1999. The tale unfolds in an alternate Gotham where heroism and villainy play out on a dark and treacherous stage. Selina Kyle, left orphaned by the brutal murder of her parents, Thomas and Martha Kyle, devoted herself to rigorous self-training. Adopting the mantle of Catwoman, she set out to cleanse Gotham of its criminal elements. Collaborating with Commissioner Gordon, who summoned her with a cat signal, Catwoman became a beacon of justice in the city. In this twisted tale, Bruce Wayne had a maniacal persona. By the day, he was Bruce, but by night, he operated as a psychopathic serial killer. He killed the Joker and then eliminated Catwoman's entire rogues gallery to keep all the infamy for himself. Under the guise of Bruce Wayne, he began a flirtatious courtship with Selina, eventually leading to their marriage. However, Bruce's facade quickly crumbled when he murdered Selina's best friend and aide, Brooks. A fierce confrontation erupted between Selina and Bruce. Selina ultimately overpowered him and restrained him as he dangled from the pinnacle of a citadel. In a shocking revelation, Bruce admitted that he'd murdered Selina's parents for his own amusement. He'd literally forced Catwoman into existence. With that, Bruce plummeted, striking a rock and being carried away by the river. In the aftermath, Selina visited her parents' graves, whispering that she was carrying a daughter, promising a new chapter in her life. Batman haunted Gotham. In 1999, Doug Mensch crafted and Kelly Jones illustrated an Elseworlds tale set in a gothic and ghostly rendition of Gotham City. In this eerie realm, ghouls, monsters, and humans coexisted, with the city perilously positioned at the crossroads where hell threatened to consume Earth and obliterate reality. The story began with Thomas and Martha Wayne, who had participated in Dr. Emil Varner's reanimation experiment. Tragically, they fell victim to a werewolf attack, witnessed by their adult son, Bruce Wayne. A skeletal figure named Cal revealed Bruce's destiny, setting him on a path guided by his father's ghost and under Alfred's mentorship. Bruce donned the batsuit and embraced his grand duty. As Batman, Bruce teamed up with Commissioner Gordon, uncovering the unsettling truth about Varner and his parents' involvement in the occult group known as the Secret Six, or the Invisible College. Varner, expelled for unethical experiments, had forged a pact with the evil lords of Gotham, unleashing a zombie horde upon the city. Batman confronted Varner, now calling himself the Joker, a grotesque fusion of reanimated corpses. In a climactic battle, Batman defeated the Joker and liberated his father's head, which had served as a conduit for the Dark Lords. With the assistance of Alfred, Gordon, and cat magic, Batman faced the Chaos Serpent god Ophidian, ultimately bringing an end to the supernatural menace that had threatened Gotham's very fabric. Batman Nosferatu. In a captivating Elseworlds tale crafted by Jean-Marc Lofficier and Randy Lofficier and illustrated by Ted McKeever, a steampunk odyssey unfolded in 1999. It paid homage to cinematic classics such as Metropolis, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and Nosferatu, a symphony of horror. The narrative began with Superman Clark Kentson and Lois Lane seizing control of Metropolis, overthrowing the tyrant Luthor during the prequel story, Superman Metropolis. However, pockets of resistance persisted under their utopian rule. Dr. Arkham continued Luthor's dark experiments, conducting seances with the mysterious Laughing Man for the city's elite. Ashevin Gordson and attorney Dirk Grayson uncovered the horrors in Arkham's domain, only to incur the wrath of the vengeful Laughing Man. Despite denials from authorities, including Superman and Lois, Dirk's allies, Bruce Wayneson and Barbara Gordson, vowed to seek justice. Meanwhile, Arkham formed a deadly alliance with the new Chancellor, Henderson, targeting Bruce and Barbara. In a dramatic turn, Bruce found himself cast into the great pit of the underworld. Ancient sentient computers reveal profound truths about existence. Transformed into Nosferatu, a bat-like force for justice, Bruce emerged in Metropolis with newfound purpose. The climax unfolded as Nosferatu and Superman confronted Arkham and Henderson. Using kryptonite to weaken Superman, Henderson pushed the conflict to its peak. Nosferatu intervened, dispatching Henderson from great heights. An ideological clash ensued between Superman and Nosferatu, leading to a dramatic fall into the underworld. At the brink of death, ancient computers intervened, advocating for balance between light and darkness. Renewed and empowered, Superman became the champion of light, while Nosferatu embraced his role as guardian of the night, assuming control of the asylum where Dr. Arkham was now an inmate. Batman, Book of the Dead. Doug Mensch wrote this captivating tale in 1999, and it was illustrated beautifully by Barry Kitson. In this story, readers are transported to 14,000 BC, when the old Egyptian gods descended upon Earth just before a biblical flood. These events, called precessions, were shown to be cyclical purges embedded in the fabric of human history. According to the gods, humans had to earn their way to godhood and divine knowledge, facing a purge every 280,000 years if they failed. Osiris created a divine staff filled with the light and knowledge of the gods. Bat god Necron hid his staff in the Giza pyramids within a maze of puzzles. The god Set, driven by jealousy, decapitated Osiris. Isis brought him back to life. Necron battled Set, won, and hid the staff in the underworld, though he succumbed to his injuries afterward. Many years later, archaeologists Thomas and Martha Wayne discovered clues to the god staff's secrets through a bat cartouche, killed by a mysterious three-fingered assailant. Inspired by the cartouche, their son Bruce took up the mantle of Batman and became a bane for the criminals. With historian Sheila Ramsey's help, he sought to uncover the truth behind his parents' murder. Ramsey foresaw an imminent purge, spurring Batman to venture into the pyramids. There, he cracked divine challenges to reveal the Godstaff's location. But unfortunately, the tomb was flooded with fierce water current, a failsafe designed by the gods. Just then, Batman was attacked by an assassin who turned out to be his parents' killer. They got into a fight. Before Batman could uncover the truth about the assassin's employer, the assassin fell into the water and was swept away. Emerging as Bruce Wayne, Batman went on television and declared that humanity must now seek the Aswan, the secret of gods, the Godstaff. Only then they would transcend to being something more than human, and he would be their beacon in the journey toward godhood. Elseworlds' 80-page giant, The Reaching Hand. This tale was written by D. Curtis Johnson and drawn by Aaron Lopresti. In this Lovecraftian tale, Detective Bruce Wayne documented the horrors that he'd witnessed in the walls of Arkham Asylum. The story started with the death of Ralph Dibny, who was confined to Arkham after a long journey around the world. After initial deduction, detectives Wayne and Harvey Dent ruled that Dibny died due to loneliness triggered by the death of his wife. From that night onward, Wayne started having vicious nightmares about a hand of the dead from the bottomless piece of hell reaching out to him. Next morning, Dent appeared in a state of shock and said something reached out from beyond and killed Dibny. At the same time, Olsen was found dead, shoved upside down in the toilet. That night, Dent took Wayne to the sewers, where they witnessed a cult worshipping and calling out to a darker force. As Dent was about to burn them all down, Dibny appeared with his accomplice. His body was stretched and distorted beyond belief. Even Jimmy appeared in similar horrific conditions. Dent doused them in fire, scarred half his face. But still the monsters called out, and a being created out of terrorizing metamorphosis appeared. Wayne and Dent escaped as the tunnel exploded. Dent was put into the asylum. In the end, as Wayne finished his documentation, his new partner, Detective Eel O'Brien, met him. As they shook hands, O'Brien's fingers stretched and grasped his hand, and a silent scream escaped him. Elseworlds' 80-page giant, Superman Jr., is no more. This Elseworlds short was written by Bob Haney and drawn by Kieran Dwyer. In this story, Superman Jr. quit the team up with Bat Jr. because he was angry at living in his father's shadow. Later, his father Superman was trying to throw nuclear warheads into space, which exploded and seemingly killed him. Superman Jr. came back and helped Bat Jr. to save stranded expeditionists at the South Pole. He told Bat Jr. that he was the only Superman now and there was no competition, so he'd help Earth the best way he could. Just then, the original Superman and Batman arrived and revealed everything to be a plan of Bat Jr. Though initially angry, the super father and son reconciled amongst themselves, and everyone flew away to a new adventure. Elseworlds' 80-page giant, Worlds Apart. This Elseworlds short was written by Chuck Dixon and drawn by Trevor Von Eden. In this tale, Bruce and his parents returned from the movie that fateful night Clark's rocket fell into that alley. It immediately obliterated his parents and scarred Bruce viciously for life. Lex Luthor came to the site the next day and took custody of the superchild that was found in the rocket. 20 years passed. Bruce trained himself to the core and fought criminals as Batman with only one vow in mind. He had to get that child. One night, Batman broke into Luthor's base and found that the child had grown up under Luthor's care as a Superman, consumed with only hate. Batman shot 4 bullets at Superman and killed him. Having fulfilled his aim, he shot himself with the last bullet, thus ending both their stories. Batman and Demon Tragedy. This Elseworlds tale by Alan Grant was vividly brought to life through Jim Murray's illustrations and was released in 2000. The story is set in a Gotham steeped in dark operatic tones. The city was terrorized by a bat demon, a nightmarish creature from the abyss that preyed on criminals, tearing them apart, limb by limb. At the same time, Bruce Wayne, a seemingly ordinary Gothamite, was tormented by recurring dreams of these demonic entities ever since his parents' tragic death. His affliction included an unusual sensitivity to moonlight, forcing him into nightly confinement. Seeking relief, Bruce received a potion from Poison Ivy, administered with the help of his beloved Glenda, which granted him peaceful sleep. That night, Catwoman tracked down the demon. She wanted to kill the beast. They started clawing at each other, but at that same instant, Bruce started getting nightmares of that fight, hinting at a mysterious connection between him and the demon. Ivy's potion had worked, and the demon couldn't tap into his full strength, so he retreated from the fight with Catwoman. However, in retaliation, he brutally murdered Ivy. The following dawn, Alfred revealed himself as the legendary wizard Merlin and disclosed an ancient pact. Millennia ago, Merlin had summoned the bat demon Etrigan to fend off an invasion from the kingdom of Metropolis. Bruce, demonstrating selfless bravery, had become the vessel to contain Etrigan. Astonishingly, the murder of Bruce's parents was revealed to be a fabricated memory. In the present, as Bruce struggled with these resurfacing memories, Etrigan's powers grew increasingly uncontrollable. Desperate, Bruce pleaded with Merlin to help him stay awake to keep Etrigan in check. Freed from Bruce's restraint, Etrigan unleashed chaos on Gotham, killing Catwoman, Croc, and Gordon. He telepathically connected with Bruce, threatening to kill Glenda. Faced with a heartbreaking decision, Merlin proposed a spell of forgetfulness. Despite knowing he would forget Glenda, Bruce agreed. The spell erased his recent memories, leaving him unaware of the true horrors. The next morning, Alfred informed Bruce of Glenda's death at the hands of Etrigan, but Bruce remembered nothing. His life, marked by endless tragedy, continued, leaving him oblivious to this cruel twist of fate. Batman Lobo. This twisted little tale, penned by Alan Grant and illustrated by Simon Bisley, was released in 2000. Scarface had hired Lobo to kill the Joker, but the Joker had his own plans. He offered Lobo $10 million to kill Batman instead. Disguised as Batman, Lobo went on a murderous rampage across Gotham, targeting both criminals and civilians alike. His victims included those close to Batman, such as Robin, Nightwing, and Batman's assistant, James. Fueled by rage and grief, Batman vowed that Lobo would pay for his atrocities. As the violence escalated, even the Joker was forced to intervene. A startling revelation came to light. Batman revealed that the Joker was actually his long-lost twin, Joey Wayne. In a dramatic turn of events, the Joker killed Scarface while Batman fought off Scarface's henchmen. Using a mind-controlling gas, Batman subdued Lobo and suggested he leave Earth and pursue a path of goodness. In the end, Batman took the Joker into custody, ending his reign of chaos. Batman, the doom that came to Gotham. In 2001, this Lovecraftian horror was co-crafted by Mike Mignola and Richard Pace, and illustrated by Troy Nixey. The story unfolded in the eerie ambiance of 1920. Explorer Bruce Wayne, accompanied by his Robins, embarked on a quest to find Professor Oswald Cobblepot. They narrowly escaped with Cobblepot's aide, Grendon, who possessed an inexplicable icy aura that defied death. Back in Gotham, Bruce discovered Kirk Langstrom's lifeless body, whispering his name in an ominous tone. The events turned mysterious as James Blood warned Bruce of the evil he'd unleashed and told him that he had to die to stop it. Batman delved into the heart of the mystery, exploring Langstrom's diary, which prophesied a looming catastrophe tied to the cursed book, The Testament of Ghoul. In possession of the book, Talia transformed Professor Manfred into a monstrous entity and resurrected Ras, unleashing a plague that turned Batman into an undead being. Grendon and Killer Croc claimed the lives of Jason and Dick. Ras, sacrificing Freeze, summoned a weed creature. Batman, wielding holy weapons from Oliver Queen, confronted and defeated the weed creature, rescuing Tim. Harvey Dent's transformation into a portal to the realm of old gods revealed a deeper mystery beneath Gotham. Armed with Queen's weapons, Batman defeated Croc and journeyed through the portal, where Ras attempted to summon Log Sotha. In a climactic battle, Batman impaled an arrow into Ras's heart, reducing him to ashes. Log Sotha arrived and slew Talia. Etrigan intervened, banishing the entity. Batman scorched Harvey, closing the gateway, ultimately retreating from the public eye and assuming the role of Gotham's guardian as a bad creature. The Batman of Arkham. This tale was crafted by Alan Grant and illustrated by Enrique Alcatena, and was released in 2000. It was the night of the year 1900 when Two-Face and his men attacked a jewelry shop. He would have killed the owner on the toss of his coin, but Batman jumped into the chaos. He incapacitated the villain and his men. He promised Two-Face to give him the treatment he needed to get better. Bruce Wayne owned and led Arkham Asylum. By day, he served as a respected psychiatrist, using comprehensive and empathetic therapies that earned him a notable success record with his patient, like Croc. At night, he transformed into Batman, helping to fill the asylum cell. Unlike the typical portrayal of such institutions, Bruce's methods were distinguished by compassion. His mission was to cure mental illness and eliminate the root cause of all madness in Gotham. Jonathan Crane, a subordinate asylum staff member, disagreed with Wayne's humane approach. While the madman Joker concurrently spread his brand of lunacy across the city through his laughing gas, Bruce was able to reach out to the psyche of more criminals and bring them around, bit by bit. His roster included Poison Ivy, Scarface, and Two-Face. A fateful night where he encountered the Joker and his goons, Batman was sprayed with Joker's laughing gas. He somehow escaped death and came back to his manor. In the frenzied state, he was put in a cell of Arkham in straitjacket, while Crane assumed the role of the head doctor at Arkham. He took control and imposed his harsher methods on the patient, treating them like soulless animals and teaching the fear. In his cell, Bruce reminisced about his past where a mad seaman had killed his parents at a circus, and how he'd vowed to cure the ones who were mentally unstable. Just then, Croc broke in and told him that the Joker was at large and had stolen a hot air balloon. He bent the bars and helped him escape. Equipped with a gas mask, Bruce faced Joker as Batman. Joker managed to escape in the balloon after a brief fight. Batman threw an explosive and put the balloon on fire. Batman contemplated on letting Joker die a fiery death, but then he came back to his senses. He understood his moral obligations and the line that he could never cross. So he saved the Joker and handed him to the Commissioner. The next morning, Bruce regained command of Arkham, confronting Crane, who again warned him of his ways of compassion. He fired Crane and put Joker in a cell, promising to cure him and make him sane, even if it took him the rest of his life. Batman and Superman, World's Funnest. Released in 2000, penned by Evan Dolkin and illustrated by a team of diverse artists, this story unfolds in the nostalgic Silver Age comic tradition of World's Finest. Superman, Batman, and Robin triumphantly handed over the notorious villains Lex Luthor and the Joker to the authorities. Meanwhile, Batmite and Mxyzptlk made their entrances, Batmite in awe of Batman, and Mxyzptlk intent on bedeviling Superman. The ensuing skirmish between these two mischievous imps resulted in the tragic demise of not only Superman, Batman, and Robin, but also other heroes including Batwoman, Batgirl, Supergirl, the Justice League of America, the Legion of Super Pets, the Legion of Superheroes, and the Spectre. The confrontation intensified, ultimately obliterating Earth, the universe, and even the Phantom Zone. In the aftermath, Batmite escaped in Earth 2 with Mxyzptlk hot on his trail, leading to Earth 2's destruction. This pattern of flight and pursuit continued across multiple worlds and universes, each meeting a similar fate. Along the way, Batmite and Mxyzptlk mocked the characters and comics they encountered, often breaking the fourth wall and poking fun at the gravity of the comic book world. Their chaotic adventure reached its peak in the Kingdom Come universe, unraveling the entire reality in that Earth. Mxyzptlk lobbed a magic bomb at Batmite. In a twist, Batmite deflected the bomb back using the helmet of Kingdom Come's Flash, the last remaining relic. The bomb exploded on Mxyzptlk's face. Suddenly, both the imps burst into laughter, recognizing their journey as an amusing diversion. They restored reality to its Silver Age origins and vowed to reunite next Tuesday, suggesting that all the preceding chaos was merely a shared, playful escapade among magical imps. JLA, Act of God. This story, penned by Doug Mensch and illustrated by Dave Ross, was released in 2000. On May 23, 2000, the Black Light incident simultaneously disabled all technology on Earth and stripped superpowered beings of their abilities permanently. Iconic heroes like The Flash, Green Lantern, and Superman faced personal crisis in the aftermath. Formerly superpowered individuals grappled with their newfound mortality, while non-superpowered figures, such as Batman, stepped up to combat the surging crime. Technologically inclined supervillains seized this opportunity, posing significant challenges to the remaining heroes. In a deadly encounter, Steel, Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle confronted Toyman, but were betrayed by the tech-focused supervillains they fought. Meanwhile, retired heroes struggled with their personal battles. Superman separated from Lois Lane. Green Lantern became obsessed with defeating his archenemy Sonar. Supergirl pursued justice as a police officer. Nearly a year later, a group of former heroes emerged, known as the Phoenix Group, determined to continue their heroic efforts despite their loss of powers. Under Batman's guidance, they trained alongside non-superpowered heroes. Concurrently, Ray Palmer the Atom fell victim to Lex Luthor's experiments, resulting in his demise. The Phoenix Group eventually uncovered Luthor's sinister plans and rescued their kidnapped comrades, successfully defeating the tech villains and Lex Luthor. However, tragedy struck when Kyle Rayner succumbed to Sonar's final attack. Despite this loss, the surviving heroes, including Superman and Wonder Woman, had a sense of solace and closure. 2 years later, Clark and Diana married and welcomed a son with extraordinary abilities, heralding a new era of hope and possibilities. JSA, The Liberty File. This story, written by Dan Jolley and illustrated by Tony Harris, was released in 2000. In Egypt in the year 1942, our protagonist, the Bat, joined forces with two new allies, the Clock and the Owl, forming a secretive trio called the Unholy Three. Their mission was to locate Jack the Grin, a clever smuggler carrying classified information about a mysterious German secret weapon. Racing against the Clock, they aimed to intercept Jack before the Germans, who possessed crucial plans. Their efforts revealed that the German weapon was an Übermensch, or Superman. Despite losing the Owl in the process, the Bat and the Clock headed to Switzerland to meet an informant about the German Superman, former agent Terry Sloan, also known as Mr. Terrific. Their journey turned tragic when the Scarecrow caused the death of Sloan's fiancée. Reclaiming his Mr. Terrific persona, Sloan aided the Bat and the Clock in tracking down and eliminating the Scarecrow. They soon uncovered a larger conspiracy involving Superman, Hitler, and other Nazi leaders planning a military assault in Egypt. Upon returning to Egypt, they discovered that the Superman was actually Martian Manhunter. This Martian, capable of absorbing thoughts through touch, had been manipulated by Hitler to absorb only his perspective. The Bat intervened, allowing the Martian to touch him. Realizing the truth, the Martian switched sides, helping the Allies defeat the Germans just as the Allies deployed their own super soldier, a young man dressed as Superman. JSA, The Unholy Three. This story serves as a direct follow-up to JSA The Liberty File, created by the same talented team and was released in 2003. Set in the post-war period of 1948, the Bat dedicated himself to fighting crime in Gotham City. His former allies, the Clock and Mr. Terrific, distanced themselves, with Sloan blaming the Bat for his fiancée's death. The Clock, returning to his civilian identity as Rex Tyler, resumed his corporate responsibilities. Reactivated as government agents, the Bat and the Clock teamed up with a new recruit, Clark Kent, also known as Superman. Despite his inexperience, Kent assumed leadership of the team. Their mission focused on tracking down former KGB operatives, the Parasite and Steel Wolf, who were working for an unknown entity. In Berlin, they discovered that Superman was actually Zod, a psychopathic Kryptonian. Zod killed the Parasite and absorbed his powers. During a meeting with the Sandman, the team learned about the Trigger, a device capable of detonating nuclear reactors worldwide simultaneously. The Lantern, who possessed critical information, was attacked by Zod. Zod found the device in Chernobyl, incapacitating the Lantern while the Sandman narrowly escaped and revealed the truth about Zod to the Bat and the Clock. The Bat called upon covert agents such as Mercury, the Hawk, the Huntress, the Atom, the Tornado, and the Star to confront Zod. As the battle raged and casualties mounted, the remaining members struggled to defeat Zod. Seeking Sloan's assistance, Mercury introduced a formula that could replicate Superman's powers. Empowered by this formula, the Bat managed to overcome Zod, binding him to the Chernobyl device. Though the formula nearly proved fatal, the Bat survived. He reconciled with Sloan and planned to reform the Unholy Three upon his recovery. Batman Gotham Noir. Crafted by Ed Brubaker and illustrated by Sean Phillips, this Elseworlds tale was released in 2001. The story is set in 1949, in the heart of crime and social corruption. Private investigator Gordon was drawn into a challenging missing persons case when club owner Selina Kyle sought his help in protecting her friend Rachel Hollingsworth. Motivated by both financial need and past connections, Gordon agreed. He escorted Rachel to an exclusive party where tensions flared with Mayor DeHaven, who had a complicated history with Rachel. After a night of confrontations and heavy drinking, Gordon awoke the next morning to find himself near Rachel's lifeless body. District Attorney Harvey Dent facilitated Gordon's release, revealing a secret partnership with Jack Napier to bring down DeHaven. Batman also confronted Gordon about Rachel's death, hinting at a larger web of corruption. Soon, criminal elements kidnapped Gordon, seeking Rachel's incriminating journal, but Batman intervened to secure his escape. Jack Napier, now the Joker, sought vengeance, making Gordon the prime suspect in Rachel's murder. Batman and Gordon crashed a party thrown by DeHaven and Zuko, aiming to apprehend the Joker. At the party, they uncovered DeHaven's involvement in Rachel's death. In a dramatic showdown, Gordon protected his wife and daughter from the Joker's attack, ultimately sacrificing himself. In a poignant twist, it was revealed that Gordon's wartime trauma involved a life-altering choice to save Bruce. Harvey Dent later confessed at Gordon's grave that Batman was a creation meant to instill fear in criminals. They walked off as the news of the mayor being charged with murder went viral. Batman Hollywood Knight. This grounded Elseworlds tale, written by Bob Layton and illustrated by Dick Giordano in 2001, explored a unique take on the Batman legend. Byron Wyatt, a multi-millionaire actor, producer and director, owned Gotham Studios and starred in the famous Batman serials based on popular comic books. He was aided by his stunt coordinator and friend Rob Davis, who also portrayed Robin. However, Jack Joker Napier, the owner of Arkham Studios, ran his own criminal empire and wanted Byron to shut down his operations and relinquish the studios. When coercion failed, Napier ordered his henchman, Winter, to kill the entire film crew and shoot Byron in the head during a shoot in Death Valley. Left for dead in his Batman costume, Byron was saved by a local drifter named Al Penny. When he regained consciousness, he could only remember that he was Batman and that his friend Byron had been killed by the Joker. This led him to launch a frenzied crusade as Batman in Hollywood against the Joker. Rob Davis, aiming to bring Byron back to his senses, joined him by dressing up as Robin. Davis attempted to negotiate with the Joker, but was kidnapped. Byron, as Batman, rushed to the Joker's lair. There, Winter confronted Byron and showed him recordings from his past, triggering the return of his memories. Just as they were about to be executed, Al intervened and shot Winter. Byron then chased the Joker, who was ultimately killed by bullets intended for Byron, fired by a dying Winter. Byron recorded the entire confrontation, leading to Arkham Studios going bankrupt to pay a $5 million settlement for the Death Valley massacre. In the end, good triumphed over evil, friendship endured, and the art of filmmaking prevailed. Batman 9 Lives. Written by Dean Motter and illustrated by Michael Lark, this Elseworlds tale was released in 2002. It unraveled as a detective noir mystery. The story began in 1940 with Batman discovering Selina Kyle's body in the sewers. Both Bruce Wayne and private investigator Dick Grayson had romantic ties to Selina. prompting them to join forces in the quest to find her killer. Commissioner Gordon was also deeply committed to solving the case. As the investigation deepened, it was revealed that Selina, known as Catwoman, owned the Kit Kat Club and had been using her charm to keep it financially afloat. To achieve this, she resorted to blackmail, holding secrets about Gotham's criminals. Meanwhile, a group of Gotham's most notorious villains, Joker, District Attorney Harvey Dent, Cobblepot and Freeze, were planning to rob the Gotham Municipal Vault located beneath the sewers, where Selina's locker of socialite secrets was hidden. In the midst of the investigation, a chaotic confrontation erupted among Gotham's criminal underworld. The ensuing fight resulted in the deaths of Harvey, Freeze, and Joker. Batman eventually uncovered that Croc, a carnival friend of Grayson's who had mutated into a beast in the sewers, was Selina's accidental killer. In his transformation, Croc had unintentionally caused her death. Cobblepot met his end at the hands of Hagen during his escape attempt. The story concluded with Bruce, Dick, and Barbara providing each other with alibis, thereby avoiding murder charges. They affirmed that Selina's death was a tragic accident, not a deliberate act of murder. Planetary, JLA, Terra, Occulta. Penned by Warren Ellis and brought to life by Jerry Ordway's illustrations, this Elseworlds tale was released in 2002. In this tale, Diana Prince, a disillusioned technologist, chronicled her alienation in man's world. She wanted to go back home. Utilizing planetary portals, she materialized in Gotham City during a Wayne Enterprises gala. There, Dr. Julius Erdell also expounded on the time-track loop theory. While other men gathered around Diana, Bruce Wayne intervened, inviting her to Wayne Manor. At the manor, Bruce revealed to Diana about helping Clark Kent to test his powers, hidden from the eyes of Planetary. Clark joined them shortly. Bruce unveiled Planetary's conspiracy involving advanced technology and the murder of Clark Kent's parents. The Planetary organization also destroyed the island of Themyscira and killed all of Diana's kin. They'd killed Barry Allen, and with his corpse, created couriers that would run across the planet. They killed the wielder of the Green Lantern Ring, and also killed Ray Palmer to make use of his mighty atom program in the name of medical science. Bruce wanted to destroy everyone in the Planetary organization and set the world right. Together, the trio ventured to Dr. Erdell's laboratory, uncovering a perilous temporal anomaly. A green-skinned alien emerged from Erdell's machine, drawing Planetary's attention. However, the alien didn't survive as it couldn't accustom itself to the atmosphere. Ambrose Chase materialized and attacked them. He squeezed local time so that no one could move. But Clark made use of his powers and crushed Chase's hand. He pushed Chase into Erdell's machine. Bruce destroyed the machine with a batarang and finished Chase. They seized Chase's planetary portal generator and opened a gateway to reach Planetary's lunar base. As soon as they entered, the base's security systems were activated. Clark was cast adrift into space without any air support, left to perish. Snow, demanding to know where Chase was, issued dire ultimatums. Diana and Bruce fled through the watchtower, encountering deceased Green Lanterns. Diana clashed with Jaquita Wagner, the architect of Paradise Island's destruction. She created weapons out of her golden bracelets and went into a fierce battle with Jaquita. Meanwhile, Bruce confronted Snow, telling him that he knew it was Snow who killed his parents. Snow accepted the blame and said he didn't want to give little people access to great power. Shielded against Snow's powers, Bruce emerged victorious against Snow's temperature manipulation. Snow taunted Bruce to kill him, but Diana ultimately slayed Snow in the name of justice. With Planetary vanquished, Diana and Bruce pondered the future of their newly liberated world. Meanwhile, Clark Kent's lifeless body drifted in silent orbit around the moon. Batman, Detective Number 27. Michael Uslan wrote this gripping tale in 2003, beautifully illustrated by Peter Snejberg. In this intriguing twist, Bruce Wayne's life took a different turn after the tragic loss of his parents. Instead of becoming a vigilante, he immersed himself in honing his detective and espionage skills. His journey led him to the clandestine world of the secret society of crime fighters. Alongside illustrious figures like Alan Pinkerton, Teddy Roosevelt, even his loyal butler Alfred, and Lee Travis, aka the Crimson Avenger, Bruce assumed the mantle of Detective Number 27. The plot thickened as the Knights of the Golden Circle unveiled a diabolical scheme known as Doomsday. Their plan involved the lethal crossbreeding of the Datura plant with Devil's Backbone spores, refining the toxin's potency over 75 generations to deadly perfection. Investigating the case, Bruce crossed roads with Catwoman, whom he apprehended, and then a gang of street kids known as Robin's Hoods, whom Bruce inspired while fighting the Circle Thugs. Following Hugo Strange on a hunch, he came face-to-face with Crane. Bruce was drugged and caged. However, he managed to escape. But before that, he learnt of a possible involvement of the Circle in his parents' murder. The Circle planted the toxin in a ball at a baseball game, but Bruce thwarted the whole plan with the help of Alfred, Selina, Robin, and Babe Ruth. As Bruce delved into the spiral, he faced Jack Napier, the killer of his parents. He beat the living hell out of Napier and came to know that Crane had given the orders to shoot his parents. He spilled Stranger's location to Bruce. At the New York World Fair, Superman was getting introduced by the mayor. While inside, Bruce pursued Strange and Crane. Strange fell into a vat of acid during the fight, while Crane was shot by a man hiding in the dark. It was his own father, Thomas Wayne. Thomas was the mastermind behind the Golden Circle's devastating agenda. Thomas had faked his own death, sacrificed Martha, kept Bruce alive as a witness to further his sinister mission. In a climactic confrontation, Bruce confronted Thomas, desperately trying to persuade him away from the catastrophic plan. The encounter reached a tragic climax when Thomas, in a bid to use the toxic strain to assassinate the president, met his end, plunging to his demise. The president thanked Bruce, and Bruce walked away with Alfred, discussing what his father meant when he said, "Seize the night," just before falling to his death. JLA, Age of Wonder. This tale, crafted by Adisak de Tantamed and brought to life with illustrations by P. Craig Russell and Galen Showman, was released in 2003. During the 1876 Philadelphia Centennial Exposition, Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane interviewed young businessman Lex Luthor. They were interrupted by a flying man carrying the torch of the Statue of Liberty. The flying man, Clark Kent, introduced himself and expressed his desire to use his incredible powers for good in this Age of Wonder. Clark, Tesla, and Luthor later joined Edison's rival, George Westinghouse. They worked on building a hydroelectric power station at Niagara Falls, while Lois Lane arrived to interview them. There, Lois was shoved over Niagara Falls by a mob of reporters but was saved by Clark. Clark shared this revelation with Luthor, Tesla, and co-workers Ted Knight and Barry Allen. They decided to replicate Kryptonian technology for profit, forming the Luthor Company. During an experiment, Ted Knight became Starman, and Barry Allen became the Human Flash after gaining superhuman speed. Luthor Company was distributing free wireless lamps, but when supplies ran out, a riot ensued. This caused tension between Luthor and Kent. Despite the fallout, Kent married Lois within the year. By 1897, America had become technologically advanced, and Kent inaugurated the League of Science to prevent the misuse of science. Lex Luthor, now ill from radiation poisoning, revealed plans for a death ray, which Clark vehemently opposed. The League's charter prohibited weapons and political involvement, leading to internal conflicts, especially with Hal Jordan. Tragedy struck when the Wayne family was bombed, leaving only Bruce Wayne alive. Meanwhile, Luthor and Jordan conspired against Superman. Jordan deceived the League by shooting Clark into deep space, claiming he'd died. The nation mourned Superman's death, and a grieving Lois was courted by Luthor. 10 years later, America had become the most technologically advanced civilization on Earth. A flying woman was spotted at the scene of a warehouse explosion. The League of Science, including new members Plastic Man and Ray Palmer, investigated, joined by Batman, who suggested focusing on finding the flying woman. Diana of Themyscira, the scientist behind the explosion, was dismayed at the casualties. But Luthor, the new US Secretary of Defense, assured her that her Amazon sisters would soon be free from German tyranny. Bruce Wayne discovered that Luthor's holding company owned the warehouse, concluding that Luthor was up to something. At a New York City charity event hosted by Bruce Wayne, Diana spoke about the Amazons' plight and thanked America for supporting Themyscira. Wayne learned of Diana's involvement with Luthor. She demonstrated her powers to Wayne using Ted Knight's cosmic rod, piquing his interest in her invulnerability. General Hal Jordan discovered that the Germans had advanced weaponry and intervened, defeating them despite their knowledge of his ring's weakness. Recalled and reprimanded by Luthor, Jordan was more concerned about the Germans' technology. Luthor admitted to supplying the Germans with weapons to weaken Europe while completing the death ray, planning to force Germany's surrender and become president. London was bombed in a nuclear attack, killing 200,000 people. Jordan attacked Luthor but was stopped by Diana. Luthor fatally wounded Jordan, who commanded the Green Lantern ring to find Superman before dying. The ring found Clark Kent, who had been living on an asteroid. America declared war on Germany, and the League of Science provided humanitarian relief. The League noticed a green streak of light and discovered Clark Kent wielding Jordan's power ring. Alongside Kent, the League prepared to stop the Germans from launching more nuclear rockets. Luthor discovered Superman's return and prepared to meet Tesla, but Diana refused to go. On his way to Wardenclyffe, Luthor ordered Bismarck to launch the rockets. Diana revealed Luthor's plans to Batman and promised to lead him to the Death Ray. At Wardenclyffe, Luthor and Tesla were stopped by Batman and Diana. Luthor claimed he needed the Death Ray to destroy rockets heading towards New York City. In Germany, the League captured the rocket base. Superman stopped a rocket heading off course toward New York City. Luthor destroyed the other rocket before aiming the Death Ray at Superman. Diana and Batman evacuated Tesla from the building. Unfortunately, Diana died destroying the Death Ray. Luthor was arrested and sentenced to death. In the aftermath, Superman announced the creation of the Justice League of Nations in 1913, a neutral zone for diplomatic dispute resolution. Batman, The Golden Streets of Gotham. The Elseworlds story was conceived by writer Jen Van Meter and artist Tommy Lee Edwards and was released in 2003. Bruno Vankanov was a working-class individual whose parents died in a catastrophic industrial fire caused by the negligence of their employer, Joe Chillingham. Driven by a desire to fight the vice and corruption that claimed his parents' lives and those of many other laborers in Gotham, Bruno embarked on a mission as Batman. He stole from the wealthy to redistribute wealth to the poor, inspired by the principles of Selina, a local union leader. His crusade was supported by James and Barbara Gordon. However, Bruno was wrongfully convicted for a series of murders in Gotham. He sought refuge in Alfred's Theatre, where he formed a bond with acrobat Dick Grayson. With his faith in the system restored, Bruno began investigating the murders. He discovered that Jack Smart, an employee of Chillingham, was the true culprit. Jack, who was a clown at Alfred's Theatre, was clinically insane. When Jack attacked, Bruno donned his Batman persona and saved Chillingham. This led to a change of heart in Chillingham, who publicly confessed his negligence and surrendered to the police. Meanwhile, Selina exposed the corrupt operations of the mayor, who was her father. With his mission complete, Bruno surrendered to the police to face justice. Batman Nevermore. Authored by Len Wein and illustrated by Guy Davis, this tale was released in 2003. This tale unfolded amidst the dark alleys of Baltimore, where a chilling string of murders sent shockwaves through the city. The victims, all dismembered members of the prestigious Gotham Club, were discovered with a large raven ominously present at each crime scene. Edgar Allan Poe, an ambitious young writer, entered this macabre setting as an appropriate reporter for the Baltimore Sun. His task was to investigate the effects of the Raven murders on the Gotham masked ball, focusing on the club's elite members. As Poe delved deeper, he encountered the Batman, rumored to be the Raven's embodiment at the murder scenes. Unbeknownst to Poe, the Batman was also pursuing the truth behind these grisly murders. Despite their joint efforts, the murderer continued his spree, reducing the number of Gotham Club members to just 2, Bruce Wayne and Professor Jonathan Crane. Through keen deduction, Batman identified Crane as the murderer. He and Poe confronted Crane at the masked ball, leading to an intense showdown. However, the story took an unexpected turn when Hubert, an orderly working for Dr. Uza and another Gotham Club member, killed Crane. In the aftermath, Bruce Wayne departed, leaving a lasting impression on Poe. This harrowing experience ignited Poe's inspiration, propelling him towards his future as a celebrated writer. Superman Red Sun. This Elseworlds story was written by Mark Miller and illustrated by Dave Johnson and was released in 2003. In 1953, the Soviet Union revealed Superman to the world, causing panic in the United States and shifting the Cold War focus to metahumans. CIA agent James Olsen recruited Lex Luthor to destroy Superman. Luthor caused Sputnik 2 to plummet toward Metropolis, but Superman diverted it. Luthor then used Superman's genetic material to create a clone, Superman 2. Pyotr Roslov, Stalin's illegitimate son, grew resentful as Superman gained Stalin's favor. After Stalin's death, Superman reluctantly took command of the Communist Party. Inspired by his childhood sweetheart, Lana Lazarenko, he aimed to turn the Soviet Union into a utopia using his powers. The US sent Superman 2 to fight Superman, resulting in a nuclear missile launch in Great Britain. The clone sacrificed itself to save millions. Luthor, now focused on defeating Superman, founded Luthor Corps. By 1978, the US was collapsing, while the Soviet Union thrived under Superman's authoritarian rule, with individual liberties suppressed and dissidents turned into obedient drones. Superman, working with Wonder Woman, enforced this regime, unaware of her romantic feelings for him. Luthor and Pyotr collaborated with Batman. Batman's parents were killed by Stalin's police force, led by Pyotr Roslov. Driven by a burning desire for revenge, he grew up embracing an anarchistic ideology and adopted the persona of Batman 2 decades later. Batman, symbolizing rebellion, became the most wanted figure in the Soviet Union, constantly evading Roslov's security forces while orchestrating numerous terrorist attacks against the Superman administration. To many, Batman seemed immortal, embodying the ghosts of 1,000 dead dissidents returning to challenge Superman's communist utopia. His infamy made him a legend in the eyes of his nemesis, Superman. Batman believed that by eliminating Superman, he could easily exact his revenge on Roslov. To execute his plan, he incapacitated Wonder Woman with her own lasso and lured Superman to a secluded location. Using simulated red sunlight to weaken Superman, Batman's plan faltered when Wonder Woman broke free and destroyed the red sun lamps. Cornered but refusing to surrender, Batman revealed Roslov's plans to Superman and then triggered a bomb within his own body, choosing self-sacrifice. After his death, the Batman legacy was carried on by the Batman cult, who, with Luthor's support, continued the fight against crime in Moscow. Luthor discovered a Green Lantern in a crashed alien ship and and reprogrammed Brainiac to assist Superman. Superman's reign brought peace, but with heavy state control. In 2001, Luthor became US president, reviving the country and provoking Superman into invading the US. Confronting Superman in Siberia, Brainiac revealed that it was never under Superman's control. As Brainiac's ship threatened Earth with collapsing singularities, Superman hurled it into space, seemingly perishing. The Soviet Union collapsed, but the Batman restored order. Luthor's philosophy led to a global government and an age of peace. He lived for over 1,000 years, achieving monumental scientific advancements. At Luthor's funeral, it was revealed that Superman was still alive. He attended in disguise, planning to live among humans rather than rule them. Billions of years in the future, Luthor's descendant Jor-El sent his son back in time, creating a predestination paradox that made Superman a descendant of Luthor and Lois. Batman, The Order of Beasts. This story was crafted by Eddie Campbell, Darren White, and Michael Evans, and released in 2004. The tale is set in 1939, as the world teetered on the edge of World War II. Bruce Wayne found himself ensnared in a dark mystery in London, with Alfred by his side. As Batman, Wayne faced Nazi spies, a shadowy cabal, and a mad killer, all while maneuvering through high society. In the midst of ballrooms and espionage, his detective instincts led him into an underground realm of secrets and ritualistic murders. To solve the puzzle, Wayne earned the trust of Inspector Frank Constantine, penetrated the enigmatic Order of the Beasts, and unearthed a profound revelation. Each man must become a beast in order to truly know himself. Ultimately, after a long cat-and-mouse chase, the killer was exposed as Hathaway, a cult member. Hathaway committed suicide, but not before helping Batman save his last victim. In the end, Bruce sailed toward the USA with Alfred, hinting at further adventures. Dark Knights of Steel. This 12-issue epic was written by Tom Taylor and illustrated by Yasmin Putri in 2003, and officially included into the newly revamped Elseworlds line in 2024. In this tale, Jor-El and Lara crash-landed on Earth, escaping Krypton's destruction and confronting archers from a nearby castle, whom Jor-El killed with heat vision as Kal-El was born. In the Kingdom of Storms, peasant boy Constantine had a vision of demons conquering the world, which King Jefferson ordered recorded. 19 years later, Bruce, a knight of the Kingdom of El, captured Banshee with Alfred and his squires. The Elves had been locking up everyone who used magic due to their vulnerability to it. That night, Jor-El revealed to Bruce that he was his father, explaining why Banshee's screams couldn't hurt him. Before they could discuss further, the Green Man enchanted an arrow on Oliver, who shot and killed Jor-El. Bruce apprehended Oliver, but didn't kill him. General Waller advised war against the Kingdom of Storms, but the Elves chose peace. However, Zala Jor-El, enraged by her father's death, flew to the Kingdom of Storms and killed King Jefferson's son, Jacob. Zala's rampage continued as she killed the metal men searching for a fallen meteorite. Jefferson, planning war with the Elves, excluded Diana from advising. Returning home, he was brutally killed by Zala, leaving his daughter Anissa to ascend the throne. Bruce learned from Alfred that he was the bastard son of Jor-El and Martha Wayne. His parents were killed by Lex Luthor, the Green Man, who had powers from a sentient ring. Bruce and Alfred returned to the castle with a kryptonite meteor, where Bruce revealed his true parentage to Kal-El. In response, Kal-El stabbed Bruce with kryptonite, declaring no challenges to his family's rule. Barely alive, Bruce was found by peasants Jonathan and Martha Kent, who took him in. Kal-El flew to Amazonia to clear his sister's name and prevent war, but Hippolyta stabbed him with a magical sword and imprisoned him. Ras, Talia, and the League of Shades arrived to claim the Titans, but Bruce, the Kents, and the Titans fended them off. Richard found Bruce at the farm and informed him of King Jefferson's death, but Bruce refused to return to the castle. Jonathan insisted Bruce must go back, believing he could prevent the war. Fortunately, the war couldn't be stopped. The Kingdom of Storms attacked the Elves. Prince Jacob, under Constantine's orders, tried to drown Zala, but Lara saved her by killing Hippolyta with heat vision. Cassandra freed Kal-El and gave him the lasso of truth to stop the war. Killer Lara knocked him out, leading Diana to order his death. Luthor attacked both sides, but Bruce, using Beast Boy's dragonfire, halted the battle. Lois convinced Constantine that they were being manipulated. The original Queen Lara arrived and fought the imposter, who revealed herself as a White Martian. The White Martians killed the prisoners but were driven away by Oliver's fiery crossbow bolt. Alfred, revealing himself as a Green Martian named Jean Jones, apologized to Bruce. He told his history to the four queens, Laura, Anissa, Diana, and Ivy. He revealed that Protex, a White Martian, sparked a civil war that almost wiped out the Green Martians and obliterated their home planet. He suspected Protex had come to Earth to enslave its inhabitants. Together, they planned to fight the White Martians. Elsewhere, Protex murdered Luthor and claimed the power ring. In the end, Bruce disclosed to Kal-El that they were brothers, leading to their reconciliation. As they prepared for the final war, it was revealed that Waller, protected by Etrigan's hellfire, had been aiding the White Martians all along, wanting to wipe out everyone and seize power for herself. The next day, both heroes and villains enacted their plans. Deadshot recruited Captain Cold to create a blizzard to quench the castle's moat. Anissa led her Amazon soldiers into battle, while Dinah used her supersonic scream to disperse the White Army's cloud. Bruce, Kal-El, Diana, and Zala left for the battlefield, leaving Jean disguised as Alfred behind. Kal-El told Protex the Whites wanted them, so they took the battle elsewhere, with the White shapeshifters following closely. Following Constantine's plan, they led the Whites to the Kristoff Mountains for a final showdown. Anissa and Queen Lara triggered an earthquake, awakening a volcano that killed most of the Whites in molten lava, while Prince Jacob protected the castle with rain. According to Harley's plan, Zala covered Kal-El, Bruce, and Diana in pitch and set them ablaze. Kal-El fought the White Army, Bruce battled Protex, and Diana faced Graz, the alien who killed her mother. Diana decapitated Graz with a fiery sword, and Bruce subdued Protex. Despite Diana's desire to kill all the Whites, Kal-El and Queen Lara chose mercy, banishing them to the Phantom Zone forever. Within the castle, Alfred read Waller's scheme through telepathy. Before he could act, Waller's hellfire consumed him. Bruce arrived just in time to see Alfred perish. Waller blamed Deathstroke and killed him. In the aftermath, the kingdoms united and formed an alliance, with Constantine, Harley, and Lois planning for potential threats from other realms. Despite Queen Lara and Kal-El's wish for Bruce to become king, Bruce chose to embark on a soul-searching journey, while Kal-El vowed to await his return, leading the newly formed League against any future crisis. Never the end. That's all for today, my Elseworlders. The crew at Longreads is now covering the thrilling unraveling of the Kryptonian Age on Earth 19, and once it finishes, we'll be back with more terrific tales. If you liked our video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more fantastic content, and ring that notification bell to stay updated. To Elseworlds and beyond.